What up, homies? Welcome. It's Monday, and we're here talking about the Hollisville. We're talking about Rachel Hollis. I didn't put any makeup on, but I am going to put on some chapstick. Get your hearts ready. It's about to go down. We're talking about a new cult just dropped. Honey, new cult just dropped. Wake up. It's not new, but we are going to be talking about the Hoffman Institute tonight. Tonight, two live for words. That's what we're going to be talking about, among other things that Rachel Hollis allegedly brings up in a new bombshell interview that she gave to a clinical psychologist named Dr. Tshelf Shifali. Okay. This is who I'm talking about. Dr. Shifali. She may faily, but she does not faily. Queen energy. Bring it to the forefront of your life. Namaste. This is a person who is credentialed, allegedly, who has written some books about raising conscious children and likes the lotus symbol and is selling you stuff online. So, this is the new thing to do. Go to school, become a medical professional, and then sell your wares via Instagram and courses online. That is the future we all want and love. And then get Oprah to hug you outside of her mansion. That's what Mel Robbins did. That's what this lady's doing. And she got to interview the one and only Rachel Hollis. And we're going to watch her. We're going to watch her interview to talk about parenting or something, and then the Hoffman Institute allegedly comes up. I have not listened to it yet. This is going to be a live react as per usual, and we're going to see how it goes. And we've talked about the Hoffman Institute before. If you remember, the man who started Tom's Shoes, Blake McCoskey, he spoke on the Rick Roll podcast. This is the man with the world's largest hat. You may remember. Still gets me every time. He still holds the Guinness Book record for influencer with the biggest, most obnoxious hat you've ever seen. And I made a joke on my Instagram where I edited it even bigger, but this is actually larger than I remember and comically large. So he is a big proponent of the Hoffman Institute. So it's been touched on once at least on this channel, and I was doing a little bit of research before. And Katy Perry also speaks about it. And Orlando Bloom apparently has gone to it. So this is celebrity haven. So and if Katy Perry's involved, most likely it's going to be about making sure the celebrity feels like they are controlling their universe, that they deserve everything that they've gotten. Nothing is by chance. It's all their vibes and positive energy that gave them this blessed life that they have. And that they're really good for the world and that they need to keep making money, and that's good for society. I think that's probably what the lessons are teaching them at this institute. And it's called Hoffman, when you're serious about change. So Oprah's involved, Maria Shriver's involved, apparently, Katy Perry, there's the Tom's guy, Billy Bush. Remember him when he was on the bus? Man, he was the only one who got screwed over in that controversy with the Inside Edition bus, talking about grab him by the P word. He was the only one who faced any repercussions for that, literally. Speaking of, come here. Come here, little Taro. Come on. You want to come say hello? And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers. If there's Katy Perry involved in some sort of institute, Aaron Rodgers is there. Gwyneth Paltrow's somewhere probably around there. I don't know who these people are. I guess there's only a couple celebrities that made it that I can personally recognize. But they all kind of do the same crap. And I guess from my very brief understanding of this place is that it will replace years of therapy. All you have to do is go for a couple weeks to this place and transform your life, and you'll become healed and holy. No need to unpack your trauma. They're just going to tell you what to do and you'll be fine. And we know that works. Doesn't it not work every time, right? Just therapy is useless. What you need to do is intermittent fast, go to a cult center and sit there for a week and just keep consuming and profiting from people's insecurities. That is the key to life. You guys know this by now, right?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Well, I guess we'll find out tonight. So let's start. Let's start with the interview, and then we'll once we get to the Hoffman Institute part, we'll go more into that. But first, here's the Dr. Shelfie. So this is who interviewed Rachel. She's a New York Times bestselling author, of course, world-renowned therapist, wisdom teacher. Okay, that's where you lose me. International speaker, founder of Conscious Parenting. Okay, so she believes in conscious parenting, whatever that is. It's blending Western psychology with Eastern wisdom. She has redefined how families understand selfhood, connection, and the inner life of children. Trained at Columbia University, very reputable, obviously, institution. She has spent decades guiding parents beyond patterns of fear and control towards presence, authenticity, and inner transformation. Her groundbreaking work explores the hidden forces that shape identity, relationships, and the way we inhabit the world, creating a path for both children and the adults who raise them to awake and evolve. Okay, I want to book a session. Work one-on-one. How much? I want individual coaching for 45 minutes. Let's see. I'm available to start at 9. Sure. This is a very interesting methodology. Your preferred date is blocked to her travels. Okay. Well, let's do the 12th. How about? Oh, good. So cheap. It's only $845 for 45 minutes. What a steal and a deal. This is going to help me consciously parent my kitty cat child for $845 for 45 minutes. This is how it all is now. Okay? This is what we've come to. Astronomical pricing. If you need help, good luck. You're on your own, everybody. $845 for 45 minutes. Okay. Let's hear what her Oprah has to say about her. She's got beautiful eyes. She should marry Jay Shetty when he gets divorced, inevitably. Okay, let's see.
So I have known Dr. Shefali for
sorry.
Right now 12, 13 years. And all my years of the Oprah show,
This is looking so natural. They look like they really are comfortable.
Interviewed hundreds of child experts. This is the best child expert and the best book on parenting I've ever encountered. And it's the kind of thing where, I know y'all are going to say, Oprah, you're not a parent. You're the first thing they go, Oprah, You're not a parent.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, from
Oprah,
the first
you're not a
pages,
parent.
I could feel that this...
Oprah, you never read a gosh darn book in your life. At least since you've been famous, you ain't reading books, girl. We all know. You're too busy counting your cash, dollar by dollar, on your Hawaii mansion. We know you're not reading.
This was going to help so many people. How did you know that it was going to help so many people?
Because it touched upon a truth that no one dared to see, but it was the basis of our universal pain, and it needed to be revealed. And so I knew that if I did not expose that the parent needs to heal themselves, this pain would get passed on.
Yeah. And so you can't be a great parent until you heal the thing that needs to be healed inside you so that you can help heal your children.
Yes.
That's the essence of the conscious parent. And so this is a map, a roadmap to how to do that.
Does she, what? Oprah is doing these constantly with all the grifters. And I'm not saying this doctor is an actual grifter. I don't know. I haven't heard her talk yet, other than 2 seconds. But why is she always in some property, standing with them arm in arm, pitching their books where it's obvious that she has not read the book? This is something she's constantly doing. She did it with Mel Robbins when they were walking down the driveway hand in hand in the most awkward way possible. Is this something that people are paying for, or what? She's just inviting them to her home to hawk books at other people? What is this? I don't get what this is.
I'm telling you, I get it for everybody I've ever known who's had a baby, will have a baby, thinking about a baby. Great gift. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awkward. Can you imagine if you were thinking about having a baby and someone got you the parenting guide, Heal Yourself First? book. Like, I don't think what she's saying is bad necessarily. I'm like, yeah, you do probably need to heal yourself before you have children, ideally. Yeah, I guess whatever healing yourself means, I suppose. So you should probably be as mentally competent as physically possible for you before having children would be wonderful. But can you imagine, like, that would be so, like, I'm thinking about having a baby in the next 20 years. You better buy this book, girl. Here's a gift. Oprah told me to get it for you. It's called Healing Yourself Before You Make the Big Leap. You're like, what do I have to heal? And sorry for jumping over this. I just had to hear Oprah speak. Thank you to LCV Maddox. Thank you so much. LCV Maddox says, thank you for covering this Hoffman method. Hard to keep track of all the cult grifters pick up like new underwear every week, it seems. Yeah, I agree. This is similar. This is in the same vein to me as Landmark. And from my, again, not understanding, because I have not done very deep research into Hoffman. I only know that the people who I don't trust as celebrities are involved. So most likely it's a scam. In my humble opinion, define scam. I think it's just, overinflated promises and an attempt to skirt actual depth in psychological, work. But, is it people chanting outside and, getting tattoos of the founder's name branded to them? We'll see. I don't think so, but it's slippery slope these days. Am I right? Am I right?
I don't know anything more cultish than that. Oh, it's a cult.
No, we're not a cult.
I think we're going to hear that quite a lot tonight. Thank you, LCV Maddox. And also, again, LCV Maddox. But also, I thought Dr. Shalafi was Jay Shetty's wife, too. What's her name again? Hold on.
So I have known Dr. Shafali.
Shafali. Sorry, I can't say anything. The fact that it says she fail with dyslexia is just
What
funnier.
is a cult?
You know?
I have dyslexia so bad.
That's funnier to me, but Shafali is the correct pronunciation. I now know. LCB Max says, but also, I thought Dr. Shafali was Jay Shetty's wife too. Hey, wife number 2, when things go down in the Jay Shetty household, which I've heard on and off that things were not going well, and then she had moved out, and his wife moved to like an apartment, but she ain't leaving, I guess. She's got $8 million a day coming in that door, so, and he just got $100 million Netflix deal. So I guess they're not breaking up anytime soon, unfortunately.
This spells cult. C-U-L-T. Oh, it's a cult.
And also?
But also.
Finally. Oops.
What's the best recipe for fried chicken?
I hope we find out tonight. That'd be great. Okay. Now let's see the interview. So now we got an idea of who this person is. She's got 1.3 million followers. So why is she interviewing Rachel? We'll find out. Also, this is on her YouTube. She's got 120K subscribers, so quite a lot more than this channel. Everyone subscribe right now, please, so we can get closer to Dr. Shafali, Dr. Shefail. And this one only has 1,200 views. Ooh, engagement. Not the best.
Right now.
Not the best. I'm also getting emotional right now. Tell me why you're getting emotional. Wait, I had the chat pulled up. So sorry. Hold on. I need to read your message. And here it is. Welcome to the membership, Crystal Stag.
Unfollow me.
Just kidding. Don't do that.
What's the best recipe for fried chicken?
We're going to find out once again. And also,
What happened to dinosaurs?
that is a good question. And thank you to Rocket Dog 7135. Rocket Dog says, anything Oprah is involved in is suspect. So glad to catch a key alive. Yes, thank you for joining. Anything Oprah does, you can just kind of guess it's going to be bad. And bad at difference bad is a spectrum, right? Bad could be her asking you for money when she's got billions. Bad could be her sending you to a deep, dark place to follow the secret, or bringing people on who've killed people on her, talk show, and saying that they're all geniuses and that they are, you should give them money to heal you. There's a spectrum of things she's done, and it continues to get worse.
She looks scary.
But she does own a big stake in Weight Watchers, or she did. So, She's a girl boss.
The mango frequency.
And also,
I'm a big time hippie and I'm very woo woo.
My guardian angels, my spirit guides.
and she's got blue-green eyes, so you know you can trust her and that she's spiritual, is the way that people think about Jay Shetty. So we have to give her the same respect. Okay, yeah, so she's has 1,200 views. Very low for how big of her channel it is and how many followers she has on Instagram. So we'll see why this is not more viewed. Hit it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali. Today, oh my goodness, it's a special guest, my dear friend, Rachel Hollis. She is a mother of 4. You may know her as the best-selling author of the book, Girl, Wash Your Face. I remember reading it and really waking up. She is a storyteller,
Really waking
exquisite
up.
writer at her core. She's a 4-time New York Times bestselling author of 11 books. I mean, talk about being a high achiever. We're going to talk about all of this. She's going to share
So
her
true.
deeply personal transformational journey, her triggers, what gives her joy, her next chapters, all coming up on this episode.
Why?
And here is my dear friend, Rachel Hollis.
Now, do you think they're dear? Oh God, jump scare. Do you think they're dear friends? I feel like no. I feel like they just met, but I guess we'll decide through the interview. I don't mean to do jump scare, but something about her camera is very crisp. Let's say hers is like soft. Rachel's is crisp and 4K.
Rachel, I'm always thrilled to learn from you, talk to you. You're just real, raw, gritty. You tell it like
She does not do any of those things. She's real, raw, gritty. She's none of those things, actually. Sorry, this is just me being a hater.
it is. So thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, I remember when we spoke before, learning from you and getting so much wisdom as you spoke about a perspective on motherhood I had never even considered. So I'm really grateful to get to hang out with you again.
You've just gone through an intense personal transformation.
Yeah.
And you know, when I wrote
What does that mean? Did she? She went through an intense personal transformation since when? When did that happen? What are you talking about? Did I miss a chapter?
The Conscious Parent in 2010, I was talking about how parents need to go through this coming to authenticity, this unraveling of the egoic self. And it sounds like you just went through that.
When?
I sure did. Yeah. So I just experienced something called the Hoffman process, which has been around since the 70s. And is something I had heard about a lot. And I don't know about you, but I feel like the universe gives me nudges. I'll hear about something once and then twice and then 3 times, and it sort of keeps showing up. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening.
That's called targeted ads, baby girl. They got you.
So I had heard several different people that I admire talk about it on podcasts. And
Katy Perry, Blake Makowski, Aaron Rodgers.
honestly, they were
Oprah.
people who are leaders in sports or business. And I was so surprised to hear all of these really high profile people talking about doing trauma therapy. And I've been working on myself for about 15 years. So I love a new thing.
About 15 years. Okay, I guess that's when she started going to Tony Robbins conferences. The basic beginning of her downfall, essentially.
And I looked at the website and signed up last year, and I, set the date for a year in the future. And honestly, I was telling you before we started that if I had known what I was getting myself into, I wouldn't have gone, because it was the most intense experience of my life and so necessary, but I didn't know how necessary it was. It's a week-long program where you completely disconnect. Like, you do not have a screen, you don't have a phone, you do not interact with anybody. And you're with a group of people. In my session, there were 30 people from all over the place, all different walks of life, different ages. And everyone's going through the same process of confronting childhood trauma. And
how can you, and this is my problem with all of this stuff, how can you do that in 1 week with 30 other people? Like, you're going to be hearing from other people all day long about their trauma. That's not healing yours by going to, I mean, group therapy is fine. There's a time and a place, and I think it's great. Like, I would love to go and join a group therapy, but not exclusively and not for 1 week. Like, I think you do need to address your own personal issues at some point. Otherwise, you're just absorbing other people's trauma personally, but okay.
Learning to be aware of it, learning to express it. That's a big thing that I learned this last week, is that we're not taught to sit with our feelings. We're not taught that we're allowed to have feelings, or, sort of taught to fit in a certain kind of box. And for a week, you allow yourself to feel sad, you allow yourself to feel rage, and you express those feelings a lot.
Only for 1 week? I thought we were all doing that all the time now, but okay.
Somatic work, so body and vocal cords, and you meet in a big group, you meet in small groups, you meet one-on-one, but I cannot recommend it enough to anybody who, the tagline of Hoffman is, when you're ready for change. I felt like I had been carrying around a lot of grief and a lot of fear since I was a little girl that, went in that first day, and it's like it was sitting on my chest, and it's not on my chest anymore. I feel lighter. And
these people always also, like, just, you could have been doing therapy this whole time. And yet they go, no, not for me, not for me, not for me. I got to go to Tony Robbins instead. And then it's life-changing. I think they just like this is going to be an obvious statement, but they like the ups and the downs and the story. If you are doing a little bit of change every day, it's not as amazing and it's not as big of a hook for a podcast episode. You need to have these constant revelations to stay relevant. When being interviewed by Oprah's friend, I guess. Because if you were like, yeah, everything's going great and I've been, slowly doing therapy for the last 15 years, it'd be like, boring. But now this is exciting. Like, ooh, last week I was healed. 2 weeks ago, I was completely a mess. Now I'm healed. I didn't tell anyone, and I gave advice during this whole period of time, but I'm really different now. And then in a year from now, I'll be different again.
I am so grateful to get to come home and see my children without that grief on my chest. I feel like sort of vulnerable and like a whole new being, and I'm excited to see what happens next. But yeah, it was incredible.
Wow. I mean, talk about doing the work, right? We talk about it all the time. And then
I guess, but I think anyone can do anything for a week, personally, and I like this comment. It says summer camp high. I agree. It's like, you go on vacation, you're going to come back and feel really, really motivated and good and relaxed and happy. But is that just not the same thing? Like, you took a break from your life? I don't know. Well, you talked about your trauma. Okay, I guess. I'm glad for you, I suppose. I don't think you're healed personally, but okay. Thank you to Amy. Amy, as always, thank you so much, Amy. Amy says, pro tip, when you're in your 40s, your childhood doesn't matter anymore. Grow up, walk it off, and get over it. Childhood was a long time ago. It's BS. I don't know if I agree. I think, especially if you've done no work, if you've done no reflection, no, unpacking, as they say, of what happened as a kid, you need to do it when you're in your 60s or 70s or 80s or 100 years. I think it does affect everything you do. But the question is, in my opinion, can you heal it among 30 people at a luxury resort that celebrities go to? Doubtful. I think you're more doing it to fit into a club and to say, I can afford something Katy Perry can afford. I can afford something that these rich celebrities can afford, and I'm too good for therapy. I'm going to do this other thing because I'm better than therapy. That's my 2 cents on the matter.
I'm going to send you so much love and so much light and so much good energy today because I feel like you need it.
That's what Rachel was telling everyone through her eyes and her hairbrush. Also, her clothes, whatever she's wearing, interesting. That's all I'll say. Interesting choice.
Let's tune into this ankle.
Thank you, Amy. And Asari Shepherd, thank you so much to Asari Shepherd. Asari says, Rachel's hair looks like a bad wig again. It looks like I think she's got extensions or something, because she has like short hair and then all of a sudden it'll be long and then all of a sudden it'll be short again. And it is a little confusing. So I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe she just got tangled up or something. Maybe her brush is in the shop. She should woman fest a blowout. That's what you're going to sound like if you go to the Hoffman Institute. As soon as you come home, you're going to be healed and holy and sound like that. Finally? Thank you. Sorry. Okay. So I don't know if they're going to keep talking about Hoffman, but let's take a second and hear Katy Perry talk about her experience. There's only 51 seconds. We can do it. Katy Perry also went to space, if you guys remember. Changed her life. That was the first time she ever loved. So she went to Hoffman Institute, didn't learn about love, but when she went in the Amazon Bezos machine up to space and came down 40 seconds later, that was when she was unlocked for real.
We weren't like really in it from day one. I mean, he was in a way because he had just done a huge time of celibacy and he had set intentions, and I was fresh out of a relationship and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go into a swim in a different pond. He went to this place called the Hoffman process, which is a retreat you go to for a week, and you rewire the way you think about yourself, and it helps you rewire all the bad habits and rewires your neural pathways through different physical activities. I had a really tough year.
I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. Like, your neural pathways can change over time, but I don't think you can jumpstart it. And I'm no scientist or doctor, but I don't think you can just hack it in a week and go, well, everything's healed now. I just don't believe that's how the world works.
And I finally went to Hoffman towards the end of that year that we were separated. And then I got the tools and spoke the same language, and it changed my life. It saved my life. I would be dead without it. Really? I would not be on this planet without that process.
And technically she wasn't on the planet for a little bit, so maybe that's what she means. Good for her. Glad it helped her in the way that she needed it. I guess I wish there was a little bit more information. Okay, here's Oprah. She's got a whole 51 minutes on the Hoffman process and how to forgive your parents and yourself. Good to know. And then Katy Perry's new romance, Hoffman Process Secrets. But that only has 17 views. Should we watch it for a second? Okay, we'll cue it up.
What's up, Kingdom?
Okay, no. No, never mind. Thank you, Sorry Shepherd. Sorry says, hold on, a real astronaut is here. Finally. So grateful someone in this world knows what's going on.
Got my celery juice right here.
Oh, no, it's okay. I don't get sick. It's a portal, the way the Harry Potter books are a portal.
Harry Potter's a portal, everybody. And LCV Maddox, thank you so much. LCV Maddox says, I suspect that Rachel's recent transformation was her move from LA to New York State. I bet she was a mess because her Hollywood mogul dream crashed and burned. Yeah, good point. I think that obviously, I mean, if you're reading between the lines of how ridiculous her explanation was, like the traffic in LA just got really bad one day and I decided to leave my entire life and family close by and move to a place I've never been before, but my husband kind of liked it. Seems like there was much more going on, and they abandoned their house renovation project to move to another rental property, move all their kids over there from LA to New York, and they'd only been in LA for like 2 years less. I don't know. The explanation she gave was such bullshit, and we all know it. But, so I think you're probably right that is at least whatever precipitated, is that the right word? The move and or the move itself, her giving up her LA mogul lifestyle. Now she's close to New York City. She could be doing stuff. She's still doing basically what she was doing in LA and in Austin, doing podcasts and doing stuff from home. But she has definitely dropped on the ladder of relevancy. Now, she is starting to go on other people's stages again. She was at some sort of vacation travel agency conference or something. So she's trying. She is putting effort into getting back out there and to try to build up her motivational speaking background. I can't knock her for that. I mean, I do knock her because she literally said she would never do that because she's got integrity. But, everyone loses their integrity when their bank account is, not as stable and they don't have the secondary income of millions from Disney. So, she's got to play the game again. And, it is what it is.
drop it in on a half pipe.
That's her.
People tend to get their feelings hurt because they're just weak and they're soft.
Feels like joy, tastes like freedom.
That's a throwback. Wow.
Make sure you have a lot of bubble bath.
Thank you, LCB Maddox. Okay. So this is all about Katy Perry, Oliver Bloom, Orlando Bloom. Let's hear from the Giant Hat Man real quick again. This is a short one. We don't have to listen to the whole thing, but we'll hear his take on it.
Certainly is not. One of the modalities that I know you're passionate about, and I know you talked with Tim Ferriss about this recently, is the Hoffman process.
Oh, yes.
And I do want to get into this a little bit.
Great. Do you know about it?
I know about it. I've never done it myself.
Okay.
Do you know Neil Strauss?
Yes.
So Neil's constantly telling me I have to do the Hoffman process. And
Yeah.
I know that I would glean so much, but he's like, when are you going to go? When are you going to go?
April went after
Yeah.
our medicine wheel. I was like, look, you gave a gift to me.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm going to give the gift to Hoffman to you. And she went.
Right.
So if the shaman's going, clearly everyone can
there's some gold
benefit.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
I really think what I'm going to guess is what they tell these, because it all seems to be people who have everything but are still dissatisfied with their life. That seems to be the people who attend these types of things. They go to the forests and they do the ceremonies and all of that, and they come back and they're not satisfied, and they buy a new property and they're not satisfied. They get into a new relationship, they're not satisfied. So they go into things like this to try to figure out, I'm rich, I'm beautiful, I have adoration of people who don't even really know me, I have kids, I have the giant house, why am I unhappy? And then they do things like this. And then in these things, they tell you, because you're special and God chose you to be the most special and to guide others, and you should go out and evangelize this process. And I think that's why they do this, because that's what they're taught in these classes, that's what they should do to have purpose in life, perhaps.
No, it's. I say to people, it's like, I think it's like if we got a heart, going back to the analogy of we come in with an operating system, we get software. Like, I think Hoffman is like getting all the bugs out of your software. Like, every software program is going to have glitches and bugs, and we all have parents and we all have life experiences. And
it's ironic because I was going to say it's like the McAfee virus, but McAfee, the guy who created it, is like a murderer. Alleged, or I don't know, something. Short story, he actually owned a restaurant where I went to college on campus, and it was kind of like this weird connection to the guy who started McAfee, but then he killed his neighbor, I think, or something. I don't know the whole story, and I think he also died. But that's what I'm thinking, like, oh yeah, John McAfee, like that's the bug system, and this is the process that gets the debugged. Anyways, thank you to Asari Shepherd. Asari says, guys are wearing the influencer hat now? Yeah, baby. They are embracing it. They are wearing leather bracelets, wooden rings, and giant hats. Men can be influencers
If Western
too.
civilization survives, it will be because enough people see Avatar.
Well, I clicked that one quick.
I had this awakening in my kitchen.
They're saying, I had this awakening in my closet, and I decided to put this giant hat on for my giant brain. Thank you. Sorry.
we all have our own versions of traumas and things that, really create.
Thank you, Alaska Blue Thunder, for those memberships. Thank you.
God was like, you're done.
You're not done. You're just getting started.
I've just healed so much.
That's all these people that are being talking. Okay. So it's getting the bugs out of your operating system.
Patterns in our lives. And Hoffman is an unbelievable experience. I use the word experience. They say process, but it really is an experiential, 7 days where you really start to understand why the heck you are the way you are. And no judgment, good or bad, but knowing why and which of your patterns and which of your ways of being or responses that are so automatic at this stage and hardwired into your brain, which of them are serving you and which of them aren't. And then they have incredible ways to rewire yourself to let go of the things that aren't serving you. My favorite Hoffman story is, and I don't think I've shared this with is that I lost 20 pounds after Hoffman. Now, I wasn't like heavily overweight. I'm like 165 now. I was probably like 185, and that was kind of a normal weight.
Don't worry, guys. He wasn't actually overweight. You need to know he lost weight and he feels great, but he wasn't that bad to start with, okay? Just in case you were worried about him. He's actually been amazing his whole life. Don't fret.
And I literally was carrying 20 pounds of stress, 20 pounds of things that I had never worked through from my childhood.
It might be, and this is just because I watched his season of The Amazing Race. I think it was season 2, like real early on, back in like 2002, I believe. The storyline that they had, and he made it pretty far. They didn't win, but spoiler, sorry. They didn't win, but him and his sister were a team, and the storyline between them was that they were too close. That they were, acting more than sister and brother. So maybe that's what he had to unpack in the Hoffman Institute, because they were like kissing and stuff and like hugging really weird. So that's what I remember about him. And in case you just got here, this is the guy who started Tom's Shoes.
And
so I own one of his books. I haven't read it yet, shocker. But he is trying to start his own cult or his own method. He wrote a book about, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'll have to read it one day. But he's trying to become an influencer in this space, self-helpy space too, in case you're wondering.
Hoffman would never say that
it's not a weight loss thing. But by having your hormones dysregulated, it's keeping you heavier than you normally would be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the science behind that, but it's like it's just there's the correlations is exactly to that timetable. And I bring that up just because it's like Hoffman has kind of a magical effect on pretty much everyone I know that's ever gone, and people do become almost evangelical about it that have gone, like you've seen with Neil.
Yeah.
Because it's just so liberating. I mean, it's just like you want every human to be able to live with this awareness and this freedom that you get through understanding how you got to where you are.
But a lot of it is, correct me if I'm wrong, about like early imprinting, like in your youth, right?
Totally.
And the kind of messages that you're receiving as a young person from your parents and how those, really become part of that. It's somewhere in between software and hardware, really, right?
Yeah.
Because it becomes so entrenched in you that it really is your hardware at some point.
At some point, yeah. I mean, because I would say the thing is they talk about this thing called the negative love syndrome. And so basically they say as children from like age, basically up until age 12.
We're going to go back to Rachel. We were just taking an aside, looking at the Hoffman method and other celebs that have participated in them. Thank you to Amy. Amy says, Betty dropped her next conference in your subreddit. Okay, well, let's take a look. We must see what Betty is up to. Let's see. We're taking a quick break. Oh, there's Betty. 16-year, 9-month-old Betty soft launch for Hot Girl Summer Conference 2026. We love Betty. Oh, she needs her own soundbite. We love Betty so much. Hold on. What can I play that's positive? Not much on this, unfortunately, on this keyboard.
Get your hearts ready.
Big facts. Oh, this is really good for me.
Jeez, this is so good.
This is so profound.
This is gold, straight up.
Buzzing with joy.
Me every time I see Betty. Thank you, Amy. Okay. Oop. This is what I look at. Watch. Deep belly laughs.
Deep belly laughs.
Red flag.
This situation is a red flag.
I need the visuals. I need the visuals so I can help myself. Oh, I guess it the Hoffman method didn't want to work for me. It literally wanted to kick me out.
One of the modalities that I know you're passionate about.
Okay. Well, we get the point. He lost weight. He's got a heavy hat. He has a heavy heart. His imprint of his childhood was important. Something. Okay, and then this is a website. I guess you go to this place. Oprah vouches for it. There's a retreat center in... Where is it? It's in California, Santa Sabina. Santa Sabina. It's probably beautiful. Everything in California is beautiful. There's sold out dates in June. Damn it. We got to wait to be healed, you guys. Okay. So it costs $69.50, which is the sustainer rate. Excuse me. This is our standard rate for which covers basic program costs. So again, 7 days for $7,000. That is $1,000 a day, essentially, to talk about childhood trauma with 30 other people. I feel like you could take that $7,000 and have a therapist for a year plus, and especially if you have insurance, multiple years. But yeah, this is definitely way better for sure. And then a sponsor rate is $99.50, our standard rate with an added U.S. tax deductible donation for those who are able to support. So I guess you're helping someone else do it. And if you get a supported rate, then you get to go and have a scholarship. And then you can also do it in 2 days virtually. Okay, so you can become aligned virtually. And here are some people who did it, who are very happy to be there. Okay, so I do like that there's scholarships. Oh, Goop is involved. Great. So we know that it's vetted by the best. All right, let's go back
to get to come home
to Rachel. So she was just telling us about her Hoffman method.
But I cannot recommend it enough to anybody who the tagline of Hoffman is when you're ready for change. I felt like I had been carrying around a lot of grief and a lot of fear since I was a little girl that, went in that first day and it's like it was sitting on my chest and it's not on my chest anymore. I feel lighter and I am so grateful to get to come home and see my children without that grief on my chest. I feel like sort of vulnerable and like a whole new being, and I'm excited to see what happens next. But yeah, it was incredible.
Wow. I mean, talk about doing the work, right? We talk about it all the time. And there are many routes to it, right? I remember when I was just turning 22, I went for my first 10-day Vipassana silent retreat. And I felt like your feeling when I came out of it, very raw, very vulnerable, not sure, but seeing the world without those veils, right, of our delusions, our belief systems. Let me ask you, did you confront the trauma in a new way, or did you confront trauma that you didn't even realize was there?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes to both. I did both parts of it.
Is she wearing a smock? Yeah? Caro says yes.
The experience of sitting with your feelings and learning your feelings. I feel like if I was listening to us right now, I'd be like, oh, okay, sit with your feelings. I would so judge it, but I didn't realize how much I don't sit with my feelings. I'm a long distance runner, and when I run a lot to I'm processing these emotions. But what I actually realize I'm doing is disconnecting from my body. And that was a big lesson for me, was learning it's a simple act of how are you feeling? Okay. And where do you feel that in your body? Of just talk.
You never did this before? This is like the most basic Headspace app routine that you do. This is the thing that bothers me. She's like, what she's saying right now is like, this is the first time I've ever known, like, where am I feeling something in my body? Don't you tell that to people at your conferences? Do these meditations every single time that take 10 minutes out of a very expensive day, and you're like, okay, feel this in your body and close your eyes and visualize and all that stuff. So you're pretending that you are using these modalities that you're teaching at your conferences, but this is actually the first time you've ever felt a feeling. Okay, got it.
Looking at my body and connecting, this idea that we carry all of this grief and all of this pain and everything we've been through. Our body, there's that great book, The Body Keeps the Score. Like, our body's holding on to that. And
I have that book too that I've also not read, but I have some doubts about it just based on how simplistic and how many scammers use that book as reference, I think there's probably a lot of nuance that's not being talked about with that book, personally.
And that was huge for me. Also, the act of expressing, meaning like, can you cry about it? Can you scream about it? Can you physically move it out of your body? That was not a thing that I had ever considered before and that I found really helpful. And then one of my greatest fears is what you just described, the idea of sitting in silence, which is a big part of this retreat that I didn't know. I didn't know that I would be spending, whole days in silence. And that was so helpful for me. And I wouldn't have believed you if you told me that I could have done that. And now I realize that needs to be a regular practice in my life. It was just this like whole understanding. And I think also this beautiful experience to go through with a community of strangers. And you just, at the risk of sounding so cheesy, you just have so much love for how hard it is to be a human. You're in a room with all of these people, all these different stories, all these different really hard things. And you're seeing people try so hard. They're working so hard to deal with it and become better. And you just like have such a love for humanity, which feels really important in a time where we often are not seeing the humanity in one another. We're seeing.
So funny. Rich people go hang out with other rich people and like, I finally understand humanity. Like what? Like people who have $7,000 to blow on something that may or may not be helpful, and you're all taking a week to go to California. That's your ticket to humanity for the first time. Again, it's like, get a grip.
Labels. And, there were people on the first day you kind of would look across the circle and you'd like have an opinion about someone, based on how they looked or, what they were wearing, whatever. Like I was being judgmental and I had an opinion about someone. And then later you'd be like, that's my buddy over there. Like I sound like I'm running an ad for them. It really is a special thing to get to do.
It does sound like you're running an ad. Are you?
We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot more with Rachel. You're a person who's written books on self-help.
Yes.
And
it sounds like you haven't helped yourself until now. And actually, this $7,000 a week retreat helped you. So why did you write 11 books? So her 11 books, I know some people are asking about the 11 books. So she's got Girl Wash Your Face, Girl Stop Apologizing, Betcha I couldn't see that happening, whatever it's called. Didn't see that coming. And then, isn't there another one? Yeah, there's another one that I forget the name of because those last two were like so forgettable. And then, so that's 4. And then she's got a new one coming out, which she said is fiction, but I heard that in this interview, she contradicts that. So maybe it's not fiction anymore. I don't know. And then she does have like 5 fiction books. So I guess that is 11. Oh, she's got a cookbook, like about down home cooking or something because she's from the country. Y'all. Anyways, so those are her 11 books.
Dug deep and you've probably been to therapy and yet you found something even deeper, more authentic. And I think what you're speaking to is this structuredness.
What if you are the answer? Good point. You remember. I did a whole video about it and I still forgot.
There's something about weekly therapy which is so profound, weekly coaching, so important, but it's when you go on a retreat. And that's what happened to me when I went for 10 solid days of nowhere to go. The keys were given in. I couldn't drive away, no phone, no journal. I couldn't even write a word.
Oh, that would be hard.
And I couldn't talk. So I think what we're saying is that when we're pushed to confront the self, and how powerful that is. I've started doing more retreats now for people because it's the going away, it's the setting the intention, it's the immersive experience. In my coaching institute, I do it for 5 months and people are terrified of joining because who has 5 months to devote? 5 months of 15, 20 hours, of work. But it takes that much immersion to change something.
Well, I heard that it takes 7 days to change your entire life. So does it take 5 months or does it take 7 days or does it take 10 days of silence? I don't I don't actually know because you guys change it up every 5 seconds. And then you go, this one hack will be the equivalent of 40 years of therapy. Just breathe through your nose like this. And then you're healed. It's like, they lie and just make shit up. So don't trust anything ever.
You just go for an hour of coaching. It's so powerful, but then you're coming back to your life. And it's so hard to institute a real change. You have to kind of go away and go into this retreat-like kind of fully inclusive, immersive experience.
I could not disagree more. I think that sounds good in theory. It doesn't actually work. It's like going to a gym for 7 days straight and then never going back. It's like, yeah, during those 7 days, you might start to feel like a big change. But then if you're not implementing it every day, it really was just a 7-day anomaly in your life.
And I think there's something so powerful, despite you being someone who's written about self-help, done the self-help, it's something about going away, isn't it? About that immersive, communal, ongoing, like you have no escape.
Yes.
What a leading question, too. Here's my theory. You know that that's right? She doesn't really get very much opportunity to disagree with what she's saying here.
You know, like Pema Chodron's book is The Wisdom of No Escape. There's something about that when you're confronting yourself and you cannot anesthetize it in any way.
Yeah, for sure. I think you get away, especially as mamas, right? Like you get to remove yourself from the responsibility and you get the chance to invest in yourself.
Mama bear.
We don't get those moments of being what the world would call selfish.
Bitch, sorry. You're on vacation every day. God, this is like Heidi talking. Like, we never get a chance as mamas to be able to take time for ourselves. Meanwhile, they're on 8 vacations a month with their boo things, okay? And no kids to be seen. They're in camp. Okay, give me a break. Maybe other mamas, you guys can't speak. Shh. No.
You know, it's like you're not being, the opposite of selfish is selfless. Like you have no sense of self. So you get this time to just work on you and your stuff and not worry about how it affects your family or not have to make anyone a sandwich or not have to do school drop off. And it is this rare gift that so few people will get to experience. But if you have it in your ability, it was huge for me. And to your point that this is the work that I do.
Ironic,
this work
it?
came to me when I was capable of taking it on. I could not have done this work 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, I was talking about personal development. I was sharing ideas, but I was sharing
I was going to say you were, though. Very much so.
The level of knowledge that I had and at the depth that I could go to. And now a decade later, because I've continued to grow and learn and work, there's new depth and there's new knowledge and I'm able to go to a different place that I really could not have done it. I would have stayed in resistance throughout the experience and I would have tried to find a way, well, I'm going to get to the end and I'm going to get my gold star, you know, for completing this, but I'm not really going to let myself be truly vulnerable. And yeah, I just had gotten to a place where I was ready to do that kind of thing. And what I think is really cool, and I want to mention, is that the Hoffman Institute is a nonprofit.
What?
And it's been a nonprofit for a really long time. And it is expensive to do the Hoffman process. But it also, they have scholarships. Like if it's something that calls, I just want to say this to listeners, if it's something that calls to you, I think just check it out.
She's such a saint. She always comes in with, did you know they have scholarships though? You know, private school, I can afford it for my kids. But if you guys are so poor, which you probably are, look into scholarships. And then I can now feel good about myself for doing this thing. I mean, hey, I guess go off, queen, whatever.
If there's something there, because I don't know, I just think it could help so many people.
Yeah, it's so impressive. And to speak to your point about time,
what is impressive? What's impressive?
Timing. That's why we have different levels. We have the book, we have the classes, we have the free stuff on Instagram.
Yes.
Each person comes to this slowly, you know?
Yes, the free stuff on Instagram. You guys should feel no regrets about anything because you have free stuff on Instagram. So true.
So it's not about forcing yourself. You know, whenever I do my sales pitch for my coaching institute, I have to be really intentional about telling people this is not for everybody. Only for those who are really ready for big girl change, or big boy change. This is, you can't just, this is serious. And you have to honor that about yourself. It's okay. It's okay.
That means it's expensive. Okay, that's what that means. It's only for people who are rich or want to go into debt to do whatever I'm offering. And I don't love this from a professional mental health facilitator. I personally don't love it to do these intense courses for rich people. I guess if that's what you want to do, but it doesn't seem ethical to me personally.
Okay, if you're not ready for the big leagues yet, it's step by step and everything is worthy. And sometimes we think, oh, if I'm not going to do the big stuff, if I'm not going to lose the 25 pounds, let me not lose 5 pounds, right? But that we get stuck in that binary way of thinking. Let me ask you, in your personal life, you've been so successful. You've motivated so many people. What is the part of you, and maybe now it's changed up?
This interesting summary of her career. I'm forgetting quite a lot of it, but okay.
After Hoffman, but go pre-Hoffman. The little Rachel that was still stuck. What parts? Was it imposter syndrome? Was it perfectionism? What was little Rachel suffering from?
So the big ones, you sort of learn.
Box cake syndrome. Her parents got her box cake and Sears
Your pattern.
coats. And she couldn't deal with it. As we all know, she shouldn't have had to. She baked a cake that didn't come from a professional bakery. And she only got her Miramax internship when she was 17 and hadn't had to go to college. That's really hard. We'll never know how she did it, but just trust her that she manifested it somehow. Okay.
It's kind of up here, and then over the week you're distilling them down to this very basic level, which I don't think... No, I know I couldn't have identified for you a week ago, which is I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what I do, it'll not be enough. And I was the little girl who...
Girl, I could have identified that for you. And also you said that like verbatim in all of your books and like multiple speeches. So I don't know why you're acting like this is new information or something you've just discovered.
Learned that the way you get love is through achievement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a really good achiever. And it's why I'm successful. It's why I work so hard. And it's why I've written these books and built these things, because there's a little version of me who thinks that if I don't keep performing, that then I will not have love and I'll disappoint my family. And then, it's all of these things really distills down to that most basic belief.
Again, I've heard this already from her and it seems obvious. This is not new information, but I guess she's hoping that people that have not heard of her before are discovering her and think that she just made a new revelation about herself.
And the antidote to that is learning to love yourself, is learning to see that you are enough without any outside validation. And I have an amazing family. My children are everything. My husband is incredible. But the external stuff, it's beautiful, but it can't matter as much as what's going on the inside of me.
He's incredible until they break up. Then he's going to be always the problem. He was always the problem in her life.
Yeah, the little girl version of me really struggles with, and still struggles. I want to be conscious of that it's not like you go do some therapy and you snap your fingers and you don't have all the patterns that you had before. Because they're still there and I'm still going to work on them. But that not enough sabotages my joy. It sabotages my health. It sabotages my creativity. If I'm trying to write a book because I'm like, oh, this is what, everyone will like best, as opposed to what my spirit or my creativity or my intuition tells me is the right thing to write next. It just affects every part of us. And for different people in that group, we all had different versions. Like not everybody was struggling with a sense of not enough, but everyone was struggling with something that was deeply painful. And not only am I able to love that little version of me better, but I also can look at my children in such a different way and look at the things, their behaviors or and I'm like, oh, And I'm not saying this to them, but I'm thinking like, oh, I see it. Like, you're trying to get attention right now. You need a hug right now. It's such a shift in the way, even at the risk of sounding so silly, it just teaches you to look at everybody and see their child.
Totally.
Every one of us is just this little child, an adult body, still trying to figure out how to find our way in the world. So yeah, that was a big shift for me.
Again, like, we've been down this road before. Dave talked about this. Rachel's talked about this. Heidi's talked about this. Everyone in the world has done 87 podcasts about this exact thing. Why is she talking as if this is new information to anyone? You go to a Tony Robbins conference, all he does is go, who did you love more in your life, your mother or your father? Oh, your mother's a bitch. All women are bitches. They all try to get you. Ha ha ha. I'm Tony Robbins. That's what a conference is. If you have never been, that's verbatim what a Tony Robbins conference is like. So she would be well aware of that. So I don't know why we're talking as if... Did you guys know that feelings can affect your mood? And did you know that sometimes when you're a child, those things may come into your life in adulthood? Yeah, actually, I think everyone does at this point.
Because I don't think I could have acknowledged that a week ago, to sit here with someone I admire and is a peer, to say, oh, I didn't think that I was enough at my core. I couldn't have done that. My ego wouldn't have let me. And now I'm like, yeah, like, hey, this is what I struggle with. And
how much are they paying her to say all this? Because this is BS.
I'm learning to love myself.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for being so vulnerable. I think every single person listening will be like, that's me, because I'm a psychologist and I do this for like now 25 years. That is the core wound, of not enoughness. And healing that is an ongoing journey. And being compassionate, I know when I write my books, a part of it is driven by not enoughness, of I need to do more. I need to prove my existence, and really having compassion for that little.
That's why I do this YouTube channel, to prove my enoughness, just so you guys know. So if you don't like, share, subscribe, and get me to 120,000 subscribers by the end of the stream, I will know that I'm not enough. So keep that on your conscience.
Bitch.
Girl, poor thing. Like in your case, it may be running 30 miles, like what the hell? Couldn't you just run 10? Like, no, you have to run 30 miles, right? Like the extra that we do, we can have compassion for that little girl in us. But I think it's a core wound. It'll never go away. And it's something to, like you said, just observe. And then the beautiful thing is you begin to see it everywhere, right? In conscious parenting, when I ask audiences, who here is a parent, right? So only the parents will raise their hand. And then I'll say, everyone here is a parent. They'll be like, I'm not a parent. I'm like, no, you are. You're a parent to your inner child. And that's the core of conscious parenting. That's what came to me, when I wrote it, is that first raise your own child in.
This woman really likes to hawk her own product. She's actually pretty expert level on it. She's like brought up, and every question that she's asked Rachel, she's brought up one of her products that she's selling at some point, or her coaching sessions, or her whatever, one-on-ones, her books. Like, she is not letting an opportunity go by where she's not telling you that she sells something that you can purchase. And good on her. That is sales, I guess.
Inside you, then you can raise the real child.
Yes.
And if we miss that, which was being missed back then, right? Back then, no one was talking about this. Then we just keep projecting onto our children, right? So now look at this, right? You've gotten in touch with the deepest vulnerable part of you, that little girl who you don't even want to tell the world that maybe you wrote all the books partly driven by her. You run partly. Maybe you're even married. Maybe you even have 4 children, partly because of you have to overachieve there too. No, just.
She was like, you shut the hell up, lady. Don't you say that my marriage was a sham and my kids were born because I was not enough. That's a totally different thing. And it is kind of crazy for her to say that on a podcast about someone she doesn't know. Like, oh, do you think you had your children because you were feeling insecure? That is kind of a crazy thing to say.
Hear me out, right? So now you're in touch with her with compassion.
Like, huh?
Now just look at what you said. You said now you're seeing your children completely differently. You're not going to tell them, come on, buck up, let's do this. You're going to understand they're feeling insecure. You're going to understand they're feeling unworthy. It's
That's how it works. You go to a 1-week seminar and then you are a good parent. Everyone knows that. It's all it takes. Just hearing someone talk about themselves and tell you that and just be quiet for a day in California at a retreat center, you're going to be a good parent. Everyone knows.
It's completely blown the lid off everyone because you blew the lid off your own inner child, right? The ego's lid is blown off. That is your awakening, right? It's called waking up, right? Like now you're not a zombie looking at the world only through behavior.
Right.
Now you're looking behind the behavior. But look, it's so hard to explain this, right? Like if I told you this before or somebody had told you, you would have been like, yeah, right. It's so hard to teach this. You have to experience it, right?
Yes.
Right.
A million %. I think that
this woman is expert level selling her products organically, casually, just mentioning them, and also leading the podcast guest down a question that they can only agree with her on. She's done that twice now. She's like, here's my theory on things. You have to agree that that's true, right? It makes for very boring podcast questions and answers because it's like I already know what her answer is going to be because she's forced into it to say, yes, what you just said is exactly what I was going to say, whether it's true or not.
Like I said, if I had heard this podcast episode and someone having this conversation, I probably would have rolled my eyes. And I hesitated, if I'm being honest, I hesitated to go because there is a part of me, and I think a lot of high achievers have this fear, that if we heal ourselves.
I love how she always calls herself a high achiever and then says we as a collective group of high achievers. It's like, okay, if you say so.
Will we still be the same person? Will we still have the drive? Will we still have the ambition?
Right.
And it was only because I heard so many high achieving people who had gone through the program, and then I listened to them talk, and they were like, no, you still are your same self. You still want to do the things you wanted to do, but you're not beating yourself up simultaneously. You're doing it without the fear and the anxiety and the self-punishment or the story in your head. You're able to live, hopefully, as I continue to learn and do this work.
I think Hoffman, she must be on a scholarship. And part of the scholarship is you have to sing the praises of this place because they've been talking for 20 minutes. And she's literally saying everything I've ever done is a lie. All my books are lies. I was a bad parent. I did not have empathy for myself or anyone around me until 1 week ago. That is what she's saying, which is insane.
Learn how to do these things from a place of joy instead of a place of fear.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't have seen any of that before this process. And I would have told you, like, oh, I'm good. Because my life is beautiful and I'm so blessed and I love my work and I love my family. I'm good. And I honestly have been experiencing so many mood shifts over the last 6 years that I, in many ways, blame on hormones because I'm in perimenopause and that makes things fluctuate. Lord. And so I'm like, oh, well, I'm experiencing things just solely because of hormones. And now I'm like, yeah, it's hormones. I honestly think that my hormones just sort of cracked me open enough to experience the sadness and to experience the anger and experience the grief that, my emotions felt very deep during certain times of.
My hormones crack me open too. Horrors. Hoffman Institute wants me to give you this message. More like Hotman Institute. I'm cracked open and open wide thanks to my hormones. Here's my new joke. You ready? It's really bad. It's not quite finished yet, but I'll give it a crack. Speaking of cracks. Hormones. If I wanted to hear a hormone, I'd bang your sister.
My cycle, but it's really because those emotions were there.
Sorry.
And the hormones just really allowed them to come out. As I'm saying that to you, I'm like, oh, wow, that's what was happening. So it's all the things.
A fear that we lose the drive, but it's really, like you said, without the excess, critique and sabotage, perfectionism, but also you begin to do, you'll see now, from a very different intention. You will stop to ask, what part of this is my ego to look better, achieve more, and be more popular? And
okay, no offense to these two wonderful ladies here, but they both have Botox and have probably done some other stuff. And that's great, but don't tell me, oh, it's not about looks. It's like you both have tackled it pretty well. So don't say like it's not about looks. Like you've done the work. That you've done that work. They've done the work in the med spa to look better.
There will always be a part of that, and that's okay. But you'll now note it. You'll have compassion for it. And then you'll try to steer more from a place that, no, but it has to honor me now. And now you're going to raise your children with that imperative, right? Does it honor you? Is it really coming from something deep inside? And yes, it can still be practical. And yes, it can still be fear-based a little bit because we live in a world that can push for fear. But can you try to come as much from self-honor as possible? It just will shift your lens now more and more.
Yeah.
And you still do the 30-mile run, but now you also check in with your body a lot more, and
you tune into your ankle for sure. I always say that.
Let's tune into this ankle.
Yeah, I still will run my knees to nubs, but I will check in with my ankle more often, for sure.
Touch with that girl. And if she's tired, I've seen so many times in parenting, in my own parenting on my clients, and I see it with myself too, when my daughter says, she makes a big plan for the day. I'm going to do these 10 things. And then after 4 things, she's like, I'm tired, right? And I can see myself in a battle, right? Because culture says, you can do it. You can do the 6. Come on, you did 4. Check, check, check. Let's do it. But then she's saying she's tired. Mm-hmm. And culture doesn't allow us to honor tired and to rest. It's such a battle between self-honor and what culture says sometimes, especially now that you're doing the work. You'll be able to help your children really tune in because you had that experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, that there's an experience that you do where you're sort of looking at what are the ramifications for the people that I loved most, the closest people to me. What happens to them 25 years from now if I'm still living out this way of life? And what I could see that doing to my sons, but most especially to my daughter, that I teach her not on purpose because I'm trying.
They're all going to have to go to therapy regardless. Let's just, they ain't going to be healed from a 1-week Hoffman Institute. They should all be in therapy now. If they're not, they should at least start when they become adults, I would think, because no matter what, they have had a tumultuous childhood, to say the least.
So hard to break these generational cycles. But I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to teach her this not enoughness. I'm going to teach her to hustle, 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 work, work, work. I'm going to teach her not to rest. I'm going
to. You already have. Your daughter is alive and 10 years old now. No. How old is she? She was 4 in 2021. So she's got to be 8 now, right? Is that how you do that math? 7?
To teach her to go run, 30 miles. I'm going to go teach her all of these things that are different than what my parents taught me. And so on some level, they feel like a healthier version, but it isn't. I would so much rather teach her to listen to your spirit, to listen to your body, to make choices that feel good. All of those things, it would not have occurred to me.
So you're writing
until last week. Okay, now she can talk about her book. Okay, so the last time I heard, and I can pull it up perhaps, I don't know if I have my cord somewhere, but the last thing I heard from Rachel in her group was that she was writing a fiction book, and that's why she hasn't been posting on Instagram because she's editing or going through the edits of her fiction book. So now I heard that there's conflicting accounts of what type of book she's talking about now. Okay, anyways, here we go.
That feel good. Like all of those things, it would not have occurred to me.
So you're writing another book. Tell us about it. And do you think that this experience is now going to enrich that writing?
Yes. I know you're going to understand this. I ended the week and I was like, oh God, I got to rewrite the book.
Rewrite the whole book.
So I really wanted to write a book about motherhood. I have a very huge group of moms in my community. And I really...
Where's the community live these days? On Instagram? I'm curious. Where does she have a community hub? Because I don't see it personally.
I wanted to write a conversation around the idea that I think motherhood is the most intense personal development journey a human can go on. And nobody tends to look at it that way. You know, women are doing these incredible things and you're taking care of everybody and you're trying to figure out your own stuff and you're signing up for the PTA and doing the thing and working and the whole deal. And you're also trying to figure out all your stuff so that you don't give that to the babies, so that they aren't in trauma therapy 30 years from now.
Right.
Like you're holding space for all of this. And at least within my community, they're so hard on themselves. They're so incredibly hard on themselves and don't really see it for the process that it is. But
you were telling people back in 2018, which is, again, less than 10 years ago, and you've not come out and said, the books I wrote 10 years ago, I no longer stand by. She's never said that. She will gladly say, my legacy is girl wash your face. And I was teaching women for 10 plus years and I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years and da da da. So she has not come out and said, I'm embarrassed or I don't stand by that advice anymore at all. But she was telling people, oh, when I went out for drinks with my girlfriends and dinner, and I came home and then ran on the treadmill for 4 miles. And that's because I have integrity with myself. And if you don't, that's the problem. And that's why I succeed and you don't. It was also, oh, this fictional woman, Pam, at the office, she said she was going on a diet, but then ate a meat lover's pizza slice. Therefore, I can't trust her because she must not stick to her truth and she must not be a trustworthy person. So at the office, I'm not going to give her a promotion because she ate a piece of pizza. Like, that is what she was writing about 10 years ago. So I don't know why she's like, mamas just need more encouragement. It's like, your advice used to be, if someone said I think she's erased it now, but there was like a kind of famous, infamous rant that she gave Rachel in her car about looking at a meme that said, if you just breathe today, that's good enough sometimes. And she's like, no, that is not good enough. You need to do so much more. And you need to be more of a, good mom to your kids. And that was her whole mentality. So again, this new, I guess because Hoffman has changed her entire life, now she's a different person with different beliefs. Again, go back and retract what you did in the past. I would love for her to do that, but, she needs to use that as her why you should trust her. So she can't say, well, that was all bullshit. I don't believe it anymore. So anyways.
Just wanted to talk about looking at yourself through the lens of someone who's doing something really courageous and someone who's doing something really brave. And, you're a warrior, you're a badass. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean you'll always get it right. But I just wanted to have a conversation that was encouraging and supportive of moms. So yeah, that's the next thing I'm working on.
I love that. That's book number 5.
Oh gosh, it's book number 11, actually. 11. I told you that little girl was an achiever.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is writing your way of expression?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So a book on motherhood, but she hasn't said it's fiction. Why would... Okay, whatever. I guess it could be a motherhood fiction book. Maybe she's just forgot that part.
I see myself as a writer first, more than anything else. That's my ability to communicate comes from there. And even with a podcast episode or, if I'm going to give a speech or whatever, all of that starts with a written word. Because it's kind of how I have journals everywhere. I journal every single day.
I will say, and I've always said this, she's not a bad writer. She's not. And I haven't read her fiction books, to be fair, but she's not a bad writer compared to Dave. He was not a naturally gifted writer, I'm sorry to say, R.I.P., but he was not a good writer. I don't think Heidi has ever written anything. So and Mel Robbins for sure ain't no good writer. So, Rachel Hollis, out of all of the books that I've read related to self-help, Jay Shetty, not a good writer. Rachel is the best. However, if she has a subject matter beyond her own lived personal experience or judging other women, I don't think she knows how to write that. I haven't read it. She only has one lane, which is here's how my husband and or my boyfriend sucks. Here's how I'm really, really good and actually better than them and better than everyone else. And here's how you should, be in your life. Those topics she actually kind of does make entertaining, I will say.
How I get my thoughts out. That's when you said that you did a silent retreat without writing. I was like, oh, okay, you went. That's harder. Yeah, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, amazing, Rachel. Tell me, just for other moms listening, what has been one of your consistent triggers that have shown up across the children, like cross gender?
Yeah, so this is a big one. I actually wrote about this in my first book that I still feel quite a lot of shame about. And it was something that came up a lot this last week is lashing out. So my father was a screamer, and every once in a while I'll get really overwhelmed and stressed, especially when the kids were younger. And, my daddy would fall out of my mouth.
Right.
And I would scream, and not only did I do it, but then now I feel shame because I'm repeating behaviors I hated when I was a child. And then on some level, there was also this belief that I deserve to scream because I'm stressed, because work is hard, because. So there were all of these beliefs wrapped up in that idea. And it's something that has shown up for me for as long as I've been a mom. And that was a huge thing to confront this week and to look at and to peel apart. And then the other...
Man, she accomplished quite a lot in 7 days. She went through an entire... how to be a parent, how to not be angry, how to lose weight. I don't know what else. She changed everything about her life. Wrote a new book in her mind. Wow, I'm impressed.
Piece. And wildly, this was part of the experience that was harder for me than a lot of deeper traumatic things is I am not very good at playing. I was not allowed to play as a child. And so I don't know how. I mean, I literally have a tattoo that says play because I try and remind myself to play, but I'm not very good at it.
She was not allowed to play as a child? That's new information. That's new information to me. She was a latchkey kid that watched Oprah. So you weren't allowed to play? Okay, sure.
And I don't feel super comfortable with it. And then I feel shame because I'm like, well, a good mom would play with her kids, but I feel weird doing it. And so that was a huge one for me. And I was so grateful because there were some other moms in my community who was doing the process. And they also had a hard time playing. And it's the first time I've really talked to another mom about that. So I felt so comforted in oh gosh, okay, great. It's not just me. Even though I don't feel comfortable at it, I do know that it is very important for my children to see me being silly. Or, yesterday was Easter and I had just come home from this experience. So I was like, what can I do that will feel authentic to me? Because I don't want to fake it. If I got a Barbie doll and started playing Barbies with my daughter, I'm just going to be like, it's not, I find it so boring. Sorry to Mattel. But I was like, what can I do for me that would feel fun, that would be fun for them? And so I created a scavenger hunt.
Oh my God, I was just going to say that's what I used to do.
Yeah. So I created a scavenger hunt, this was my writing,
so
right?
Fun.
Oh my God, I was just going to say that. Man, we're done. We too many podcasts. And the sun is setting. God is like, you're done. He's shining his light on me right now because he thinks that I'm actually the chosen one. And these ladies are wrong. I think that's what everyone's saying.
God was like, you're done.
Okay.
So I wrote all of these clues, and they were all rhymes, and they hid them all over. And then they worked together as a team. And we got to be honest, my kids have been looking at me like I'm an alien because they're like, yeah, you made a scavenger hunt for us? I'm like, uh-huh. And it was so joyful.
Why did her and Dave adopt a child? I see your comment piece change up. And I've heard them say this too back in the day, that they're like, oh yeah, I prefer teenagers because like I don't like the little kid activities. It's like, well, you were kind of done with that. Like you had 3 kids, they were pretty close in age. The oldest or the youngest son, I think, is now what, 13. So she could be in that period of time with the older kids off to college and high school, whatever, and she could maybe enjoy it more. But her and her husband at the time decided to adopt a child, and they were gung-ho about it and blogging it and vlogging it and doing it all and talking about the whole process. It sounds like you don't enjoy it. Why did you like bring a child into your family that you didn't really want? I don't get it. Like, it's annoying, and it's like, whatever. It's my judgment, but it sounds like if you weren't wanting to be a parent, okay, you have the 3. Why did you have to have a 4th?
Well, and I was so proud of myself. I know maybe that sounds, however that sounds, but I was so proud of myself that I did it, and that they loved it. And that when I got overwhelmed, because it is very overwhelming, like you said, when you came back from your retreat, it was very overwhelming for me to come back from this experience, that I didn't back out of my idea to make a scavenger hunt. I did it, and it worked. And I was like, we played. So I'm learning.
Oh my God.
Good point. I really think she does like the idea of being a mama bear, and motherhood is her personality to connect with other women who are probably vulnerable. You know, who are like overwhelmed and working really hard, 40 hours a week plus, or are stay-at-home moms, first-time moms, and they're wanting to make money or whatever, and that's why they're reaching out to Rachel for advice. But I think she doesn't like being a mom at all. I've always said that. She doesn't give off vibe, even with this, like, oh, I had to force myself, and I'm proud of myself for not backing out of doing a mom activity. And she's a single mom. I mean, she's got a husband, but he didn't have those kids. This is new to him completely. So the fact that she's raising these kids, it's like, and you're using it as content and as your identity at all times to connect with other women to sell them stuff. It is kind of disappointing, I guess, to hear how much she's struggling with like basic activities, especially when you have all the money in the world to be able to buy your way out of some of this stuff. It sounds like you're still struggling. It's frustrating probably to hear from other people. Masha MCUA. Masha, thank you so much. Masha says, my theory is that her and Kez are deep on the rocks, and this is her way of saying I grew and he didn't. Good theory. I honestly think, because this is exactly what started the downfall of her and Dave, is when they were like a power couple. You know, he was the breadwinner and she was running the events business that I think was helped because of his connections, but she was growing and starting her business and the blog and all that, food blog and all that, and the cookbooks and all that. And then she decided, you know what, I want more for my life. I'm going to go to Tony Robbins. And he gassed her up and said, if people in your life don't want to come to Tony Robbins and spend 10 grand, cut them out of your life. And so she started to put the pressure on Dave and said, you need to change or we're going to be breaking up. And then he got all worried and then decided to do it with her, quit his job, join her at the Hollis company. And then they moved to Austin and they were on this roller coaster. But that was really the downfall. I mean, they were basically on the rocks going to break up once they got to Austin. So it seems, based on how quickly that timeline, jumped. And then the pandemic really just flattened them out. So yeah. I wonder if this is the replaying of that with her new husband now, she's gonna say, well, I did this thing, he's stuck in the dust, and when they inevitably break up, it's not gonna be her fault, of course. So I agree with you.
Back to the swallowing.
My boyfriend, I am dating the most evolved human being.
And she'll find a new boyfriend and a new husband by the time her daughter is, in the 5th grade. If that's the way the world works, she'll find another hot guy or a hotter guy than this guy with more money, who's got more connections, and she'll be fine. That's how the world works.
I'd fill that load.
Meanwhile, Heidi's going to be, I don't know what she's going to be doing, drowning herself in an ocean while her boyfriend surfs.
My mouth is so bored.
Okay.
So a couple of things. Do you know how many moms come to me? This is a rhetorical question, saying that they have a hard time playing.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
And they're very embarrassed about it, as if we're supposed to just be great at playing.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And you know what kind of playing? It's this unstructured, completely creative, irrational, mumbo jumbo playing, right? Am I a penguin? Yeah. No, and you're a giraffe also. And then you're a hippopotamus. And you're like, oh my God, your rational brain cannot take it,
Yes.
right? And it is very boring and it's repetitive and they're very bossy. You know how bossy, right? They're like, no, not like that.
Yeah.
Like this. You know, it's not like they're like lovely and like let you create, right? They're very bossy, these children. And then suddenly you're being directed and commanded and be funny. Now sing a song, right? And you're like, this is feeling.
I'm not a parent, but is this true? And is this something that we should all be concerned with? I don't know a solution because I don't have kids, but it seems like if you've signed up for this job, the most important job in the world and the hardest job in the world, you should maybe want to do these things, maybe.
Like I'm in a freaking army.
Right, right.
This is not play. This is not fun. Right. And then if you are playing, they want to be the boss and then you're supposed to let them lead. And then, you're like, I want to smash this Barbie. Right. So it's very hard.
This is a person who's written books about raising children. She wants to smash the Barbie. Okay. Seek help. Yikes.
Douche lord.
This is just stupid. This is a really intense woman.
But I did a scavenger hunt one time, so I should actually write a book about motherhood. Meanwhile, they both hate children, sounds like. Okay.
But a part of it is because we were never allowed to be, silly and young. And we feel very threatened when our children take lead. If you have a bossy child who wants to direct the play, you're like, this is torture. When those parents tell me, I always say, don't do that boring play then. You take charge and you freaking make it a contest, a game, a race. That's why dads love playing because they are in charge of, they make it structured, they have rules. The game starts, it ends, it's fun, it's challenging. And we mothers are stuck doing the Barbie playhouse nonsense and we get bored. So I often tell them to create scavenger hunts and to create like mysteries and clues and send the kids off and then you can relax. And there are many ways to be playful, right? You just unleashed one of them and you can do that. See, you can do that where you're not compromising yourself and faking it, And I also tell a lot of moms, it's okay if you can't play, I would never say that that's the hallmark of good parenting. And you can tell your child, I suck at it. You suck at cooking a 5-course meal. I suck at playing. Help me to help you. What can we do that can work together?
That we both enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love that she's like, fathers love to play. They make rules and they have games that make sense. Us mothers, we get stuck with the bullshit Barbie smashing. It's like, again, I'm not a parent. I can't speak very succinctly or intelligently about this subject matter, but this is kind of new information. This is the first time I've really heard this discussion, and I'm curious if people find it helpful and go, yeah, I'm so lucky that other women don't like playing with their kids and, don't like playing with Barbies. I mean, I guess I can see that, of course, but it just feels like, is it a pat on the back moment, or should we be trying to figure out a way so that we can help the kids still feel loved and having fun? I don't know. It just seems like oh, give yourself a break. Don't worry about it. It's like, well, I don't know. Is that what we should be doing? I guess you're a doctor, so you would know.
We both enjoy. But I think, again, it speaks to what you were saying. We put so much pressure on ourselves that we have to be all kinds of mom, My daughter is now 23 and she started cooking. And every other day she tells me, man, I don't want to go to the grocery store, or I don't want to cook, or I can't think of anything to cook. And each time she does that, I'm kind of mean, but I gloat. I go, hallelujah. Thank good. Now you see. It's not easy to do this,
Yeah, it's hard to adult.
I know I'm.
Okay. That seems healthy. I'm glad doctors are saying. Every time my daughter shares something vulnerable with me about something they're struggling with, I say, good. Now you see how hard it was for me. We need to get Dr. Ramani in here. She's giving the narcissistic tendencies. We need to diagnose her up right now. Craig would have her on a swivel.
Saying like we put so much pressure that we have to go to the grocery store every day. We have to cook fresh food every day. None of this is easy, is what I'm just saying. Because we're not supposed to do it in these nuclear families in the first place. We were supposed to do it in the village where the two mothers who love to cook can do it, and the two mothers who can play, and the two fathers who can.
And the two mothers who like to podcast could have a show together, a talk show. That would be you guys.
Right? And we divide and rule. But here, everything is put on us. So I think your book is going to help women ease their burden of perfectionism, you know. But, you know, I have to say, moms will look at you and think that you're just nailing it. Like you have 4 children, you've written 11 books, you run how many ever miles. So what?
She's obsessed with her running miles as if that's an achievement that makes her a good mother or a good person. Wow, you've run 30 miles before. Like that makes you a fully healed person. Okay. She's brought that up like 8 times.
What would you say to them about, you know, the perception they may have of you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think this is a big part of my work is distilling any mythology that I might be perfect in any way, because I screw up all the time. I am trying all the time. Some days I feel like I'm crushing it. Some days I feel like I'm failing terribly. I am really proud, and this is even before this week, I am really close with my children. And I'm very proud of that because I didn't have that with my parents. But in a lot of other ways, oh my gosh, I mess up every single day. And I guess I just keep at it. You know, I think that I just keep trying and look.
As opposed to what? Emancipating the children? Like, you kind of have to.
Little bits and pieces and inches and sometimes in miles to become a better version of myself. But the reality is that I'm working on myself for myself. And then there's this beautiful thing that spills over the side of the cup and spills out on my family. But I really am trying to become a better version, because if it is something that is entirely for me, then I don't give that ownership away to anybody else. And I don't blame anybody else if it's not working. I really am trying to do my own work on my own heart and get better as I go. And I just assume that I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. Like, I don't think there's a destination in working on yourself. Right. I think that you're like, okay, now I figured out this thing. And okay, now how can I, you know, help my joints feel better? Like, I just keep, you know, trying to not in a, I want to be careful because I think there is a really popular trend of kind of over optimizing ourselves. Like, how do I fix this and this? And that's not the energy.
Yeah, that's a trend that she doesn't adhere to. She doesn't care about optimization for sure. She doesn't tell you to look at your calendar and look at the colors on the calendar and do an audit for the last year to go through what you wasted your time on and what you should be wasting your time on next year instead. She's not into that. She's not into habit stacking. She's not into making your life simpler so that you can achieve your dreams, baby girls. She never would say that. Ever. She's learned in the last week that you have to trust yourself and forgive yourself. And now she's going to write a new book about that. And we should all buy it. And trust her this time. The past, also trust me and buy that book too. But trust me in the future moving forward with new information that I learned from the Hoffman Institute. Turnbuckle 10, thank you so much. Turnbuckle 10 says, we just can't handle how relatable she is. Ugh. Preach, sister, preach.
I want to be relatable.
What happened to dinosaurs? Auntie Ray Ray, the best, goodest, good girl you ever met in your life.
Do you know she's bilingual?
I speak Spanish pretty well. Pinchos. Are you Rachel? There are many caminos.
Do you know what a Capri Sun is?
One of the world's biggest tour managers. That's what my boyfriend is.
So big. Thank you, Turnbuckle. And Masha, thank you so much, Masha. Masha says, theory 2, Kez will be the bad guy because she was such a good mom and he got jealous of her time and love. I'm with you. 2 for 2, girl. 2 for 2. I'm with you on your theories. I think you're right.
My boyfriend is English.
And I think his non-negotiable seemed to be, I want to be closer to England. So they moved to the East Coast and she went along with it, so it seems. And I think he's, seems to be doing dad life fine and whatever, but he's not working, I don't think. Shawn Mendes at least is not on tour, I don't think. So I feel like the fact that she's having to go out and work and get on stages again and try to make money from these keynotes is an indication that they need money. I'm guessing, I'm assuming. And I think maybe her Sirius XM contract might have been run out. So yeah, I think she'll get sick of that. If she's got to be the breadwinner for real, and she's got to play Barbie doll, she's going to probably end up leaving this guy too. Perhaps.
She looks scary.
They act like they do no harm. They act like they're positive. And this is what they're up to.
These people are con artists.
She'll do anything for $1 or $2. Okay. Thank you. I agree.
It's more, okay, where do I feel tension in my life right now? Is there an area in my life that feels tense or hard?
Barbies.
Okay, why does it feel like that? And how could I potentially make it better?
Because I wasn't allowed to play.
And in some seasons that looked like, gosh, getting the kids out the door in the morning to go to school is really chaotic and it's stressing me out, it's stressing them out. How do I make just that moment better? And then in other seasons, it's like, okay, time to go back to therapy. Like we need to do some heavier work. But it really just does come from a place of like, okay, let's start with what's not working and see if we can add some light to it.
Yeah.
Huh?
And just before we close, my last question. You said you're really close to your children. So tell us what you intentionally have done to allow this.
So if there's one hack or secret that I think I accidentally stumbled in.
Parenting hack. Here we go, guys. Parenting hack alert. Everyone get ready. We're going to hear some juicy, priceless nuggets.
This is gold, straight up. Priceless, juicy nuggets.
We're about to get some big facts.
Big facts.
Okay, here we go.
It is somewhere along the line, I understood, let me give you the structure of my family. So I have 3 boys and then the youngest is a girl. And I understood, based on just thinking back to my own teenage years, that if I judged my children for what they told me, I would never hear a story again. So from the time they were very young, I just held space for them, to be frustrated with me, to not like school, to, have feelings about this or that or the other thing, because in my family, our feelings were often shut down, or you were told like, no, you love school. Oh no, you love soccer. It was, you didn't get to be who you were. And the first time that my kids, I made this deal with the boys. I have 2 teenagers who are both boys. So I made this deal with them when they started to be in high school and go to a party. Like we had conversations about alcohol. We had conversations about sex. We had conversations about drugs. We talked about everything. But I knew there would be a day where someone would come home and tell me something that was not what I wanted to hear, and that was a test. Like I just somehow knew that first moment, and I had one of my sons came home and he had gone to a friend's birthday party. This is in high school, and he drank. And that is not something that I think a teenager should be doing. And I was like, I felt everything in my body like collapse in on itself. And I was like, this is a test. And I was like, okay, how was that? And he was like, honest.
What kind of White Claw was it? I'm fine with this. I mean, I guess this is an actual problem that a lot of parents generally would have to face. And it is interesting. And I think probably the way it sounds like she's handling it, which is, okay, you want your kids to trust you and you told them to tell you everything. And then if they tell you something, you can't freak out. So I tend to agree, but it's just kind of funny. It's like, I don't know. It's like, what do you expect? If you said that you're allowed to do it, or if, I don't know, whatever. I can't even judge.
Honestly, I don't get it. Like, it's so gross. Why do people drink beer? It's disgusting. Like, I was like, yeah, I kind of felt the same way when I tried beer for the first time. And in that moment, like,
and Rachel talks about, maybe this is my point. Rachel talks about alcohol online, so I'm assuming she would talk about it at home too, as if alcohol is the best thing that's ever existed. And she went and did a brain scan. They told her to stop drinking or her brain's going to be, mush. And she said, oh, of course I gave it up for like 4 days, and then she was back drinking alcohol. So I'm sure the kids think it's cool because mom and their new father figure are drinking seemingly quite a lot. It's in his bio about loving alcohol. Why would they think, oh yeah, like this is not our family and what we do? So it is kind of hypocritical, I think. I mean, obviously you should not do anything illegal, but I think it's fair to go, my parents drink, Dave drank a lot, obviously. He had an issue with it, but she drinks, so why would she think it's weird that I drank at 17 or whatever? Anyways,
my parents and would have been like, I can't believe, I would have gotten in so much trouble, and then I would have rebelled against their reaction. And the reality was my kid didn't even like the thing. All of that to say that I have just really tried to never judge what they're going through, because it's no different than what I went through at their age. Even when it freaks me out, my oldest is in college now. And even when he saw, I'm like, how was that? Okay, what'd that feel like, And I'm sure that there are listeners who will agree or disagree with this, but my son, the first time that he drank too much at college, I'm the one he called. And the first time that he went on a date, my oldest son is gay, and he never had other boys around that were gay. And so he got to go to college. The first time he got to go on a date, the first time he got to kiss someone, like, I'm the one he called.
I'm so glad that we're blasting his information out on the internet, and I'm glad that she's the one that he called, so we know that it's important. It only matters if he called her first, and he did, so now we are, now we know it's a good relationship.
That is sacred. That's worth more to me than anything in the world, that I'm their person. But I don't think I would have been their person if I had judged the person they were becoming.
Incredible. It's just
So
the most,
incredible.
it's for every single human being who wants to be seen, right? We all need that safety. And judgment comes from our own fear, and because we were judged, right? So we are now actually, by judging them, trying to not make them be judged, right? Like, I got into trouble because I drank, so I'm going to scream at you so you don't drink, so you don't get into trouble.
Yes, yes.
There's weird protection, but it's all baseless. But thank you, Rachel. Thank you for all the work you do. People, check out her books. I know I read Girl, Wash Your Face long time ago. I think you're most known for that.
For sure.
Your straight talk, your honest talk. And now,
For sure.
after your new, even deeper revelations and transformations, I cannot wait to see what shows up in the world. And we're all going to benefit. So thank you for everything you do. I've always appreciated your honesty and your transparency. So
Every person who interviews any of these people, they read the bio, and the bio says, she's really transparent and authentic. And they go, well, I guess I have to say that. And in how I describe this person, because that's what her website says. She's so authentic and real. It's like, she really played it safe, I think, and always does. Like, yesterday, I was really hard on myself, and now that I spent $7,000 to do this retreat, I'm less so, and I can actually still do all the things I've been doing, but I can feel better about doing it. So authentic. Oh my God. Going back to the alcohol thing, I was thinking, I drank quite a bit in high school, and started when I was 16, I would say, and I watched my mom drink every single day of my life, to the point, and I think I've told this story before, but to the point where she would fill up wine, like white wine, in a Sprite bottle that was green, and she would bring it to the grocery store, bring it to like softball games, to the tennis court, like anywhere we would go, she would have wine. So as a kid, you don't think it's a big deal, or like, I didn't think she was an alcoholic. It took me a long time to really kind of come to that conclusion. Once I got into therapy, like in my late 20s, early 30s, and then I started, to go, okay, I think this is actually like an alcoholic problem, But when I started to drink when I was 16, part of it was because I'm like, well, she can't say anything. She literally cannot be mad at me because, look at her, like what she's doing. And I think it was a rebellion of sorts to do it and to be like, I dare you to say something to me, you know, about this. And she really didn't. Like, I got caught a couple times with bottles of alcohol, coming home drunk, like really bad, hungover, throwing up. Like, it was kind of, for high school, like it was kind of intense. And I am kind of angry as an adult that my mom didn't take it more seriously. Like, I think I was exhibiting like concerning behavior, to say the least. And, you know, I think my mom did feel like, well, I can't really say anything, or she just wasn't concerned. I mean, she would freak out about other stuff, like if I had a boyfriend or something that was more innocent, you know, honestly, or like I would have a scuffle with a friend or something. My mom would get so involved and like blame me for it and like be really weird. But then I'm drinking, or I got caught with like marijuana on me one time, like not by the cops, but like, you know, in my bag. And she wouldn't care. It was like so weird. And I don't know. I guess I just bring that up to say this isn't a black and white type of conversation ever when it comes to kids. You have to know the context. Like, was it a one-off thing, or is this a cry for help? And I think that's the more nuanced take that, you know, is necessary with all this stuff, which is why blanketed advice typically doesn't work, and why these books are so relevant to two people in the world, the person who wrote it and like their immediate family. And that's it, because there's so much information you don't get with all this stuff. Anyways, so that's my 2 cents. Let's see if they say anything else exciting. I don't think so. Doubtful.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time.
I hope you all enjoyed listening to this conversation between really two women, two mothers, both plagued by the disease of high achievement and constantly doing and learning how to be more in our bodies, more safe, more non-judgmental, and more easy with ourselves. Thank you for joining me. Hope I see you on the next episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali.
Okay, I don't think I like Dr. Shefali. I don't think I like to trust her with my children's future, personally. Let's see her engagement. I'm curious. She's got a lot of subscribers, but very low engagement numbers. 1.2, 1.5, 1.1. Oh, look, it's Mel Robbins, 1.1. So she either bought her subscribers or she had a couple hits back in the day, 6 years ago. Yeah, maybe she got some subscribers from this. Oh, Jay Shetty. Oh, there you go. If you're going through a divorce, watch this. Let's see what he has to say. He looks like a totally different person. He changed his face somehow. He got some sort of adrenochrome injections in his face. Okay, here we go.
If you feel comfortable sharing when you were battling, going through the divorce and feeling ostracized, like, what was the hardest part about that?
You know, Jay, you and I, growing up in India in particular, we are raised to not air our dirty laundry, so to speak. So when a woman dares, like I dared in my imagination, to step out of convention, to break the mold, to step out of the box of my 25-year-old relationship.
Jay loves stock video.
The first and immediate fear is, of course, what will other people say? Because we've been conditioned to be tethered to the opinions of others. So the first thing that comes up when...
Do you think they kissed? I don't care about this video. It's so boring. Divorce is not bad. Did you guys know that? Divorce is not bad. Ugh. So glad someone's saying that. Oh, she was on the Tom Bilyeu show. So she's a scammer too, or scammer adjacent. Oh, Mind Valley. Oh, good. So she knows where all the scams are. It sucks when people with actual degrees go on scam podcasts. Oh, Oprah show.
And are you able, as WW teaches, to treat yourself with compassion, having reverence for yourself?
Oprah, go live your life. Why is Oprah still doing podcasts? Why is Oprah doing live casts and book promotions? Can't these people go to their island? They own private islands. Go on them and stay there. Why are you constantly making content? Like, it's a lot of work. I think it's the ego thing. It must be the ego. They just can't, they can't let it go. They have to be the center of attention, or else they will crumble into an abyss on the floor. Okay, let's look at the YouTube for Hoffman, because that was the entire focus of that podcast, was how great Hoffman Institute is. Okay, so it's for parents and people and blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Inside the retreat center. Beautiful. California never fails to be beautiful. The Hoffman Podcast presents. Man, my camera is having a meltdown. This is not good. Okay, let's see. Maybe it's the cord. I'm still here, everybody. Don't leave me. The world is falling apart outside, but we're going to play the Hoffman Institute. Maybe it'll heal us. I'm back, baby. Okay, get to it. We're going to the Hoffman Center. I hate when there's music because then it gets demonetized. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. 2 people. Okay, here we are.
Robin, tell us a little bit about this building, its history. I'm so curious.
Okay. Well, it was commissioned by the Sisters of St. Dominic of San Rafael, and it was completed by 1939. And it was used as a convent and a formation center for the new nuns that were coming into the Dominican order. And so it was that for about 40 years. And then in the 70s, it became a retreat center. And they opened it up to all walks of life, and people came for contemplation, for quiet, for peace, for different programs and such. But it was very eclectic groups that would come, and the sisters still ran it.
So it's had lots of different personalities over the years.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect for Hoffman.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, can we go inside and check it out? I'd love to see it.
Yes, well, let's do it.
Let's do it. And as we're here, I imagine this is where the students will be coming up?
Absolutely. They'll come up here, they'll park their car.
I'm excited. I can imagine the first time I came in my process.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, here's where the students enter. And
wow,
yes,
beautiful.
Some of them are a little anxious. So we, as staff, try to help them be calm.
A warm welcome.
Right there, they get their keys, they get their...
Sad merch. I'm a hoodie on the Hoffman mental health process wall, and I'm gray and sad and brown also, and there's only 4 of each of us, not enough to clothe the world. Okay. You hear in the other rooms.
Room assignment, and then they're directed to go into the dining room.
Probably some nourishment.
Yes.
Cup of tea.
So there's a cafeteria, probably some nourishment. Yeah. Yeah, man. Who is this guy?
Yes, and
beautiful.
Yeah, and this is where they start to connect with one another.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
It is really...
Looks like the faculty lounge of a prep school.
Beautiful. We preserved all the wood in here.
You can really tell it's a place of history, can't you?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we didn't do anything with the windows. The windows stayed the same.
Beautiful. Yeah. And this is where the students will eat 3 meals a day, yep. Some of those in silence, as we know.
Yes, yes.
And lots of celebration as well by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. What's next?
Awkward.
Here is the coffee tea bar where students can get coffee and tea 24/7. These stairs...
You don't say, lady. Here is the coffee and tea room. This is where you can get coffee and tea. Here's the bathroom. This is where we cook our breakfast. Huh?
Stairs lead up to the student rooms. And right here are the bathrooms. They're beautiful.
Okay. It's giving butcher shop. It's giving modern. Little renos here, renovations. Giving a little cultish with the little pyramid. Once you go in, you'll never come out the same.
You ready to see the classroom?
I
Yeah.
am.
All right.
Wow. This is
Wow. I've never seen a classroom before. So there's chairs in here for the students to sit in? And then are they going to be taking a class in here? In this room?
fantastic.
Yes, and this is where the students will spend most of their time, as will the teachers. It's just beautiful, open. The panels on the ceiling are actually acoustic.
And that's for the sound to really dampen it down, make an intimate listening environment?
Yes, yes, as well as there's acoustic panels on the walls.
And this is a non-profit, don't forget, allegedly. So that's why we're trying to make this seem like something incredible, because this is all tax-free dollars for some reason.
There's lots of thought that went into this,
Absolutely.
Lots of intention.
Yes, yes.
And I'm looking at the speakers, those look amazing.
State of the art. It's got a nice...
State-of-the-art speakers. Did you know these are aerodynamic chairs as well? It really helps with airflow when you're sweating your pits off at these classes.
Warm feeling to it, spacious, light.
And if students want to take a break, because we know breaks are important,
yes.
Where do they go?
Well, let's go outside to the...
To the outside. Let's go outside to the outside where students can take a break outside.
South lawn, that's what we're calling it, the South lawn.
Okay.
Piano music.
This is such a peaceful environment in this kind of protected outdoor space.
Yeah. I mean, there's little nooks and crannies that they can go and be by themselves, or just pull up to a table and do their journaling. And
the outdoors is such an important part of the experience, isn't it?
It
for
is.
Hoffman?
It actually is. And I think people will really appreciate how beautiful this land is. And it's so quiet. You can always hear the birds. And
I mean, it's okay. It's fine.
Apparently a few coyotes and deer.
Yes. Turkeys.
Turkeys. We just saw a couple turkeys.
We did.
I mean, this is so...
Prove it!
Oh, beautiful, this view up here of this site.
Yeah, it is actually a great vantage point. I don't come up here often to look down. It is beautiful.
Robin, tell us a little bit about why Hoffman is so important to you all these years, and even take us back to where it all began.
I've always been very interested in self-growth, personal transformation. And so when I heard about Hoffman from a friend, I had to do it. So that was back in '97.
Under duress.
And then from that, it really impacted my life, and I had just deeper connections with my family and spent more time with them, helped them through some major transitions. And then I've worked for Hoffman 4 different times. First one in '97, second time in 2008, third time 2016, and then currently about a year and a half ago I started up again, which brings me to my current role right now.
Which is head of facilities?
Operations.
Operations.
Yeah. Yep. So we've got Petaluma, Connecticut, and then Canada.
Right.
So
that's a lot.
It is.
Multiple processes at the same time.
I would guess that Rachel went to the Connecticut one then. Because she did a post about, maybe that's when she was over there to get her lashes done. She went to Connecticut. Maybe she was also getting her Hoffman done. Her emotional lashes, some may say.
And
That's deep. Actually, that's very deep.
This is the project that has really taken the most of my time for the last 9 months. So,
oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
What? Walking the property? Okay. More talking or no? walking back inside. They hired a drone operator for the day.
Upstairs.
Yes, we're upstairs, 40 student rooms. As you can see right here, the hallways are color-coded to help navigate the building.
Nowhere to go.
Right, exactly. So,
and there's numbers outside the doors to correspond with the different rooms. And so, for example, room 1 is, the first room, and then 2 is the second in succession. It's very important that we understand these concepts.
this is a classic student room.
Huh.
It has a full-size bed.
Very jail cell with the sink floating on the side.
It has an armoire. It has a desk for writing. And
a little vanity.
Every room has its own sink.
Good sleeping.
These beds are amazing.
Now, why do they have a sink in each room? Is that part of the process? They got 20 towels. No, 1, 2, 3, 4 towels and a sink. Why?
Every room has a great view. It's pretty special. Yeah.
So special.
This is the Sequoia room.
And so this is where the more intimate space with teachers, with each other, classmates, great discussions happen in small groups.
Yes, yes. It also, as you can see, it's a big room and there's lots of seating, so.
This is giving rehab without an addiction. So you want the rehab experience, but you're not actively addicted to anything that's, rises to the occasion of going to an inpatient rehab. But you want to feel like you're doing the work, quote unquote.
When students are on break or when they're waking up in the morning and doing journaling, they can come and hang out in here.
And
it's a
are
nun thing.
there's
Okay.
4 of these, aren't there?
There
in
are.
This space?
Yes, yes. Okay. And I specifically chose these chairs.
This is giving me flashbacks of Peoplehood, the Soul Cycle second project, where they decided that they have a revolutionary idea of putting chairs in a room in a circle and having people talk.
Chairs.
You like these chairs?
Well, because of the desk, because I know we do a lot of writing
that's true.
Break up into small groups.
I'm so glad they talked about the chairs. I was hoping that they would get there.
Okay, Drew, so this is the courtyard.
Oh, beautiful.
This is where court takes place in the yard. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's so peaceful in the morning and you'll just hear the birds chirping away.
Is the original brick pathway.
Plenty of outdoor seating.
And nice stained glass there and the arches.
It is very pretty.
So this is another small group meeting room. Isn't it beautiful?
It is so nice.
And new lighting.
And the natural lighting from the windows, beautiful.
Yes, and cork floors. Another place also where they can hang out during breaks and such.
Always.
That looks like such a fun place to hang out during a break. In a wooden room with 50 chairs.
Good seating.
Always good seating, yes. And this is the sanctuary.
Wow.
Wow, more chairs. Oh, what kind of chairs are these?
Perfect for Hoffman students and our visualizations in here, our ceremony of integration, the stained glass, the lights, the soaring arch.
It has a nice feel to it.
It has a great feel to it.
They're really trying to sell. This is just again, nothing. Nothing's happening. There's nothing revolutionary. They're trying to sell this as if it's something that is so different that Katy Perry just couldn't get it anywhere else.
Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome, Drew.
There's a chair. Here's a final shot. Here's a chair. Now, what does this symbol mean? Explain the symbol. It's giving demon. It's giving demonic energy.
Screenshot this glow up motherfucker.
As the Bible says, fuck that.
What's up next?
Thank you for listening to the Hoffman Podcast. My name is Matt Brannigan. I'm the CEO of the Hoffman Institute Foundation and a Hoffman teacher. Our mission is to provide greater access to the wisdom and power of love within ourselves, in our relationships, and in the world. To learn more or to support our mission, we invite you to visit hoffmaninstitute.org.
Yeah, the nonprofitness is killing me. So just so you know, the Hoffman process provides transformational learning experiences for adults seeking personal change. Again, why does it, if it costs that much, why does it have to be a nonprofit? Oliver Hudson on Drew Barrymore, Blake. Let's see, what's the most popular? Explaining the negative love syndrome. Okay, let's see.
Most of us live in an I'm fine world.
Ugh.
We go about our lives doing our best and hoping that's good enough. But there are things about our lives we wish we could change. Things that disappoint us, challenge us, make us angry or sad, or just plain don't work about our lives. Relationships seem to follow the same old predictable patterns with our partners and our children, with our loved ones. And no matter how hard we try, often we find ourselves doing the same things that were done to us and find ourselves in relationships much like our parents.
So true.
And although we try to make sense of things, our emotions seem to have a mind of their own. It seems really hard to be our best selves. Ever wonder why the same things seem to play out over and over in life?
Yeah.
The answer starts with an old adage, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
E equals mc squared. And also gravity is the same as a feather and a bowling ball. Some may say.
Most of our emotional patterns, feelings, moods, and attitudes are handed down through our family. And we find ourselves treating our children and loved ones with the patterns we experienced in our family of origin.
Do you need to go to a retreat to know this? Like, isn't this obvious information? Doesn't everyone know this at this point? And if you are even signed up to go to this retreat, you can just watch this video and not have to go.
Patterns relating to the way we deal with anger, or sadness, or patterns of being driven by...
It's just a really long, drawn-out Red Bull ad. Hoffman gives me wings. Or you can hear the birds outside chirping every morning.
ambition and success. That's easy enough to see, right?
Right.
But somehow, even though we see it, we can't seem to change it.
Yeah.
We might even say, I sound just like my mother, or like my father. And yet we seem to have no way to do anything different. The good news is that this is learned behavior, and what was learned can be unlearned. It turns out that the process of passing these patterns down has a lot to do with love, or more accurately, the lack of love. In order for babies to truly thrive, they need a deeply felt sense of love, connection, and belonging. In other words, a healthy parent-child bond. The thing is, even the best parents can't be there every moment. We have all kinds of demands on our time.
They have to get milk, eggs, bread. They have to contact Bill via email. They must check off and look at a timer.
And sometimes bad things happen to parents. Death, divorce, abandonment, financial crisis, addictions. In any case,
yikes,
it's just not possible to be present in a loving way all the time. As helpless babies and young children, losing love and connection is terrifying, and we're desperate to reconnect. Our survival depends on it. So we try to reestablish our emotional connection, the parental bond. We look up to our parents, and we unconsciously mirror them, as if to say, look, now I'm like you. Now do I belong?
True.
Now do you love me? We absorb everything indiscriminately. All the good things that we learn from our parents
Oh, it's a pretty
and
sunset
their
outside.
painful, hurtful, emotional patterns.
Beautiful.
And we play out these patterns again and again in our adult lives ad nauseum. We carry and use
Sorry,
these
the police are coming
dysfunctional
for me.
emotional patterns to try to get love, especially when we feel disconnected. And yet these very same patterns set us up to get the opposite of what we truly want. Even if as children we knew how hurtful these patterns were,
This video is going to take 7 days to watch.
and even if we tell ourselves things like, when I grow up, I never want to be like him, or I'll never marry someone like him, We find ourselves time and time again playing out these self-sabotaging patterns with the same unwanted results, and being attracted to people with patterns like the ones from our family. Even if we rebel against them, and we build a life that looks very different on the outside, on the inside, it feels much the same. We tell ourselves we'll be different.
And by talking about this, for 1 week, you will heal all of these wounds.
And we have many ideas and strategies about how to be better. Yet sadly, we find ourselves saying, I married my mother, or I'm a workaholic just like my father.
Gross.
Or depression runs in my family. But remember, negative love patterns are learned behaviors, and thus can be unlearned. At Hoffman, we have a process.
Finally, we're going to get to some information. They make you watch 49% of the video. Okay, here's the cycle of transformation of Hoffman. Here we go. Here's the secret.
It's designed to identify these patterns and free us from the grip they have on our lives. In our 1-week program, you'll learn to become aware of your patterns, to express the feelings behind them, and then to find forgiveness and compassion for yourself and your family. This, in turn, opens you to your innate wisdom, along with your capacity and ability for greater love. After the Hoffman process, you'll be able to pause and make a positive, authentic choice. When you're able to pause and see the pattern, it loses.
Now, how, you ask? By sitting in chair, writing, and eating nourishment in dining hall.
Loses its power over you, and a whole new world of love, dignity, and connection opens up for you and the people you care about. If you're facing troubles in your relationships,
cry couch.
or if you've hit a block in your career, or you'd just like to feel better about yourself and about life, and you want to have more love, connection, and inner peace.
Pay $7,000.
When you're serious about change, check out the Hoffman process to see if it's right for you.
I have no idea. I think I learned what I'm supposed to learn already by watching that video. What is the Hoffman process? Tell us, please.
What is the Hoffman process?
Whoa. Love, loving, lovable. So where is this in the merch store? I didn't see this. I only saw gray and brown. Boring Hoffman. I guess you get this when you become sentient or whatever.
I love our motto. When you are serious about change. It begins there.
The process is a
She's got the Gucci, so it must be working for her.
reflection of what's getting in the way of your life and how to heal it. It is 7 days of immersing yourself in who you've been, who you are, and who you want to become.
He's like, I'm going to bring my glasses to set, but I'm not going to put them on my eyes. But I need people to know that this is the glasses I would wear if I had to see what I was doing.
It's a full-on 1-week adventure into self-discovery.
The Hoffman process is a week-long personal growth retreat where you learn to live life from your authentic self, or what we call your spiritual self, rather than the negative patterns or the self-defense mechanisms, the coping strategies that you learned in your childhood.
What happens here? Oh my goodness. Let's call it a hero's journey.
It's essentially a hero's journey over the course of 7 days.
A hero's journey, you say? What does that mean? You are the hero of your own life. From day one, you discover that you were mistreated as a kid. By day 2, you're healed of it. By day 3, you're now proselytizing other people, and now you're running the cult.
Where you engage in dozens of different...
Which camera are we looking at? I'm getting quite ill.
7 days where you engage in dozens of different healing modalities, all in the design of surfacing what needs healing in you. And so once you become aware of what is getting in the
They must have cut a lot of fluff out of there.
way, then you get to take each of those patterns, we call them, through this cycle of transformation and transform patterns into authentic ways of being. And when you transform patterns, you transform your life.
I've heard it said that if you want that just cut to the chase, 10 years of therapy executed in 7 days.
I think about
Yeah. I believe that for sure.
the process as a way to anchor in who you are again.
I think the cult uniform is pinstripe shirt. And depending on what level you're on, you have less and less buttons the more deep into the process you are.
I know that's what it did for me. And when I see students come to the process, a reconnection to the fullness of who they are is what I find the process to be.
The Hoffman process is like this week-long interpersonal journey that takes you back to the place that you already know, that you're already familiar with, which is yourself.
It's a gift to yourself to come and spend 7 days on really focusing on what's held you back in life, has led you to be stuck, or just not feeling totally fulfilled with what.
What was Katy Perry being held back in life about? Like, what is Rachel Hollis being held back? They all think they could do more and do better. It's like, you guys won the lottery. Maybe you should just go and enjoy it. Again, why is Oprah she needs to go to a place for them to tell her, you could do more and you should try harder. It's like, just figure out how to chill. Go hang out with a person who doesn't make $20 bazillion a second and you'll probably feel better about yourself.
You do, and find a way to live life on your terms. And the definition I've come to use in my own mind is it gives you permission to shine. Meaning shine your bright light, let it exude from you, and realize that patterns are what causes us to sometimes decrease that light.
So these are narcissistic people who already believe that they're perfect. They're going to a 7-day retreat that's telling them you should be even more perfect and you should be even more patting yourself on the back. All the spoils of your success is not nearly enough. You need to give yourself more credit on a daily basis on podcasts.
Self-judgment, self-blame, shame, and this process in 7 days allows you to choose you for the rest of your life.
I choose you, me. Okay, let's see. So that was the indoctrination. Let's see. My experience. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Negative reviews. Same ones. Let's see. 7 days to change everything? Louise's story. Louise. She looks like the mom from The Parent Trap. Thank you, JB. JB says, Katie's dating Justin Trudeau. That's traumatic. They look young. They must have had the package at Hoffman where you get the adrenochrome, like I said, and they get their face injected with it, and they appear like they're children again, because both of them look like they're 15.
Get off your butt. Nothing!
Don't be selfish. Take off your glasses and go drive a vehicle. Don't be selfish. Your mama?
She's savage.
Don't be selfish.
What do I need to believe about this so that it serves me?
That's the Hoffman way. Thank you, JB. And finally, JB, as always.
One of the things that fascinates me about you is that you're from Canada.
Okay, here it is. This is from the UK. Louise. Take it away, Louise. She's a therapist.
I was just in the middle of a divorce. My daughter was 2 years old. And I remember very well how I arrived at the Hoffman, pretty chaotically, because I had a lot going on in my life. And I remember the people at the Hoffman said to me, "Do you really want to do this?" And I remember saying, "Yes, I do." I know that it's taken me a while to actually get here. I came quite chaotically, is the truth. But from then on, I realized it was probably the most important thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of therapy.
My ex-husband and I decided to split our twins up. And I lived in London, and I was a fashion photographer, and my ex-husband owned a vineyard in Napa Valley. And we both decided to send our children to this camp in somewhere, upstate New York perhaps. And then they came and switched on us. And then I was forced, against my will, to reconnect and rekindle with my husband, who is very cute and very burly for the time. But he had a fiance who was in her early 20s, and so we had to sabotage her so that she would leave on her own, because she was trying to send my darling daughter to boarding school, and we couldn't have that. So that's when I showed up to Hoffman Institute.
Therapy on myself in other situations and places. But this helps me the most today. It was amazing. I remember really feeling, there was one thing about having a birthday party. I'd never had a birthday party, and I had a birthday party there, which was incredible. At the end of the process...
Well, the bar was pretty low there. Jesus Christ. I guess if that's what you're looking for, you could go to any office in the world, in America, and have a birthday party. But okay, I guess if that's what you're looking for, $7,000's worth it.
I felt very calm, very spiritual, actually. That gave me, the Hoffman gave me my spirituality that I have today. And I felt that I could now cope with the difficulties I was going to have to cope with, which I did. I think the process has helped me today, when I look back, how much I've changed. I've grown into a much more confident woman, which I certainly wasn't. I've also learnt to trust and believe in myself much more, rather than relying on other people and outside things to make me feel okay.
Yeah, so it lends itself to the story, the narrative that all self-help loves, which is you are the only person capable of doing anything good for yourself, and you should rely only on you, and that's it. It doesn't seem like very negative comments or reviews. This guy says the honest review.
What's going on, everybody? It's Avi here, and this video is going to be definitely one of the most important videos I have ever made. I've made a handful of videos, but this video I wanted to talk all about my honest, truthful feedback about what it was like doing the Hoffman process.
Tell us.
For those of you who don't know, the Hoffman process is basically a week-long intensive where I went to Petaluma, California, no phone, no communication with the outside world for a full 7 days. And they take you through an incredible journey of self-discovery and learning how to really feel happy with yourself, love yourself. And I actually heard about it. My mom had told me about it years ago, and I didn't take it too seriously when she told me about it first. But then I listened to a Tim Ferriss podcast with Blake Mycoskie, who's one of the founders of Tom Shoes.
Tim Ferriss mention and Blake Mycoskie, giant influencer hat man mention. Okay, so that's his inspo. All right, so there, it's working. These podcast, segments are paying off for the Hoffman Institute.
And that podcast just struck a chord with me because Blake is this incredible entrepreneur, a guy who looks like he had it all, a guy who looked like, life was set for him.
It was actually. That's the issue, that these people are never satisfied.
Working on an incredibly impactful business, making a lot of money, had a family, and he talked about how in his experience he felt very empty even with all this external success. And when I listened to that podcast, I think it was like a week later, I went back and reached out to my mom and I was like, hey, I want to do the process. So I signed up. It was booked out months in advance, and I ended up canceling it 3 times. But I ended up going in the first week of December 4th through December 10th, and it changed my life. And I just wanted to share what I learned, some takeaways, without revealing what the process is, but just to give you a better understanding if you've
Why can't you reveal what the process is?
had thoughts about doing some type of life-changing work. Because I had in my notes right here, it was asking in the pre-interview, you have to fill out a bunch of work before you even go to the process, just talking about, where you're at mentally and what things you're struggling with. And this sentence kind of really summed up the reason why I went to the Hoffman process. It says, "Sometimes I feel like I'm a failure and I'm not good enough. I want to be grateful for everything I have accomplished, but I struggle to feel proud of myself." And this was something I really learned, especially in the process. It's something I've struggled with my whole life, and it's what they call a pattern, and it's like a shame message that comes from being a kid and growing up, and it comes from our parents, and it wasn't really who I authentically am, but it's just really how I felt. I always strive to get great grades in high school so I could get into a great college, so I could then get a job.
So it just sounds like another guy who's like, I really did everything that I was told to do, but I'm not happy. And it's like, well, yeah, because there's more to life than accomplishments. And that's what they tell you in this group. And they say, write down all your accomplishments and then forgive yourself. And you go, thank you. And you go right back to your life.
Make money and, portray success. And I kind of was doing those things. I got good grades in high school. I got into my dream school at UCSB. And I was striving to get a great job, and I became a realtor, an entrepreneur, and I started to have some serious success, but I was still always never feeling good enough as I was. I was striving for more. I thought, if I sell more homes, if I acquire more rental properties, if I help a lot more people, then eventually I'll become enough. And at Hoffman, they described one really simple sentence that really struck a chord and really brought this home for me, that in our society, they teach us that we have to do so we can have, and then we can be. So do is like grinding, hustling, working, pounding the pavement, door knocking, cold calling. You do all the activities, you hit the gym, so then you can have, a lot of money, a nice house, a fit body, a great spouse. And then after you have all that stuff, you can finally be happy. So do, have, be is kind of what I thought was the secret to success and happiness my whole life. And I was in the do phase and the having phase, even starting to, have major success on paper, but the B phase was not there for me at all. I wasn't truly satisfied, and the only satisfaction I really would get was when other people would compliment me, or I'd kind of get the external validation, which then would wear off pretty quick.
So then I went to a retreat to get 1 week's worth of external validation. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I think this is the universe sign telling me to shut the heck up. At least we're not getting kicked off the air. At least it's not Dave Ramsey up in here canceling the stream, or who else cancels me all the time? Everybody. Everybody wants to get me off my YouTube. Whoa. Okay. Well, we will never know what the Hoffman method actually does. Someone needs to cough up $7,000 so we can find out. Or I guess we could just read Rachel's book on motherhood, which is also a vampire novel or something. And we'll see how she improves, and then we can test to see if this is a proven method that we believe in. I mean, we know Katy Perry's doing great and has nothing to change about her personality or her mindset or her life. So maybe just by that alone, we know that it works. Hey! I'm getting an AC, by the way. Also, I bought an AC off of Facebook Marketplace yesterday, and it's like 50 pounds. So the guy had to come bring it up. I live on the top floor, so and I don't have an elevator, so he had to walk it all up. Poor guy was falling over. I was I'm behind him. If you fall with this AC, we're both going to be crushed and pinned under each other. But I was just there for moral support. And then now I have to get another guy or large person that is able to pick up 40, 50 pounds of a giant square to put it into my window. So that's tomorrow. So because of that, I have to now clean my house because I don't have anyone come here because it's so tiny and small that it just really fits Taro and I in here. But now that I'm going to have someone actually enter my domicile, then I have to clean. So that's what I'm doing tonight. And I'm going to cook dinner. And I'm going to clean my floors. I'm going to clean my sink. I'm going to clean the bathroom. And not that it's disgusting, but like it's good enough for me. But now that another human being with their eyeballs are going to be looking at my stuff, I have to like spend a little time. Spend a little time on me. That's my toilet every week. Spend a little time putting bleach on me. And I say, no. No, ma'am. No need. Okay, so this week I decided to come live on Monday because tomorrow I'm getting my AC installed. Okay, and I'm gonna stop sweating all night long like I have been. And I'm gonna maybe have the ability to not sweat under my knees while I work at my desk. Then on Wednesday I'm going to a networking event, a ladies' night networking event. So hopefully I'll meet some ladies who will love to connect with me. Can't wait. And then Thursday, tennis. Back to tennis. Woo, love tennis. And then Friday I'm going out of town because it's my birthday on Monday and I'm turning 35 years old. Love it. Can't wait. And that's my life. That's my life pre-Hoffman method. And then I'm going to solve this Rubik's Cube one day. Just kidding. I used to be able to solve it, but I had to use YouTube to figure it out, and I would like to do it again, but my brain is not functioning because I scroll TikTok for 47 hours a day, and it has really melted my brain into a way that it doesn't work anymore. So maybe one day I'll do it, or maybe I'll just give up. And that's my methods, guys. If you have kids and you don't like playing with them, don't. And see what happens. Okay, time to sing my song. I'll be back next week. And we'll meet again and we'll do something. Oh, wait, first. What chair am I sitting on? Okay, well, you're about to be in for a crazy-ass treat. Okay, first, Arian from Gravity Falls. But what does McConaughey say about this? I'm sure McConaughey's been there. I'm sure McConaughey has been to the Hoffman Retreat Center. Oh, wait. You can't hear that. Hold on.
Time for me, you, and all the nations to get us some elevation. Whew.
Let's censor this guy.
Time for me.
As you laugh while you're getting ready for bed, instead of praying to God, you're praying, I'm dead.
Uh-oh. Amen. Yippee. Oh, my.
McConaughey would say, you know, you got... my book Green Lights, I talk about this. It's a really incredible thing. It's called the Hoffman method. Nah. Now, the method's not important. What's important is that there is a method to be had. Hoffman is a mindset. That's what I'm always saying to my child. My son, he's going to go to the Hoffman method one day, and he's going to sit in that chair. And he's going to learn the lessons that we all have to learn. And I'm going to take him in my Lincoln and drive drink tequila. All right. That was a bad impression. Thank you, Arian from Gravity Falls. Okay, my chair. Ready? Am I actually in the cult? Okay. Oh, frick. Hold on. How do I guess I gotta show you a picture. Okay, I'm taking the picture. This is a live photo coming at you. Okay, my room. So now you understand why I need to clean my room. And by room, I mean my entire apartment is a room. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna airdrop this baby to me. You can see how messy my house is. I don't want you guys to see me like this. I want you to see me like this. That's okay. You ready? so pathetic. Okay. This is my chair. It looks like some sort of sex toy. It's not. This is it. And I literally can rock back and forth. It's supposed to, allegedly. Yeah, not Hoffman approved. I know, this is the future. This is like 2035 chair. It's supposed to strengthen your abs. Now, does it? No. Hero, come here. She's drinking water. I can see all my cords. So you see in the background this little house? That's her donut shop house. And she goes in there and lays in there. It's so cute and sweet. And also you can see I'm very, I love interior design. These yellow and black tubs next to my 47 cords is a choice that I made on purpose. And then that's her little hot sauce toy that she likes to play with. You know, my abs, they're really underneath. They're there in spirit, but there is a layer of Dunkin' Donuts that, you know, is keeping it safe. Yeah, this chair reveal. I know, I can't be one to talk shit about chairs and quality of chairs when this is my chair. Like, I'll have my friend from high school came over recently, and he was in town visiting, and like he had to eat a sandwich, and like he's like 6'3", and he's like sitting in this chair like eating a sandwich over here, and it was like obviously incredibly uncomfortable, but it works for me. My back does hurt though sometimes, but I don't think it's from the chair. I think it's from doing crunches wrong. So anyways, that's my chair reveal. I'll show you it's real, so you don't think it's AI. And the screws are coming out of it, so I don't think that's good for your abs. Yeah, this is the only chair I have in my apartment. And so the other day I had to ask my friend to get me a step ladder, and I had to bring it over and walk over, like, you know, 10-minute walk, not too far, but like had to walk through the streets with a step ladder because this is the only chair I have in my apartment. So it's either sit in the bed, or sit on this contraption. And you know what? I've been here almost a year now. It's coming up on a year. I've had this chair before. I moved this chair up from Florida, so I'm committed to this chair. But yeah, it's worked thus far. Has it gotten me abs? No. Has my posture improved? No. Does it kind of work? Yeah. He started chair fund. I do need... I am not AI. I promise I am not AI. What a great question. Thank you. The Hoffman method is something that we will never know unless you spend money. I thought it was AI. No, it's real. I want to show you one chair I do like, but it's like not available anymore. I don't know. And it probably is not comfortable either, but it would fit the aesthetic of my house perfectly. Here. Daisy swivel chair. This would fit. Everything in my house is Daisy. My shower curtain, my comforter, my floor mats. And it was all like kind of by chance because I'm not necessarily a Daisy lover. I'm more of a sunflower person, but it just, I don't know. Like, I bought one thing. I bought the comforter first, and they just happen to have that at TJ Maxx. And I was like, okay, that's cute. And then the walls are painted orange, and that kind of match. And then I was like, well, if I have the Daisy comfort, I might as well get a Daisy, shower curtain. Then I got Daisy towels to match the shower curtain. Now I'm like, well, I might as well get Daisy floor mats. So this would be perfect, but, it's like not available anymore, apparently. And I think this will give me sciatica, right? Like this cannot be good for lumbar support. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to insight into my mind, that's where I'm at. Yeah, not white though. I know. And the pink one's gone. Oh, maybe not. Actually, the pink one would be even cuter, to be honest. Pink with green? Hello? Here, I'll show you. This is also a real photo, okay, of my bathroom. Right, Kitty? What do you think? Okay. This is real. This is real, you guys. You guys. This is real. Why does it come so giant? Okay. See? It would match so nicely. Right? So cute. Yeah. Taro's like, I know! Okay. Okay, here's the last picture I'll show of the night. Love at first glam! Oh. Okay, last one you can see. I need you to know I'm not lying. It's very important to me that you know that about me. Okay, hopefully there's nothing embarrassing. That's my floor mat and also my comforter. And my teddy bear named Koopa. Taro loves Koopa. It was so funny. I said my friend who came to visit, you know, I've known him since freshman year of high school. He's like, oh, how's Koopa doing? That's my teddy bear. I'm like, you remember my teddy bear's name? It's a good friend. That's a good friend right there. Okay. I need a vanity. I do need a vanity too. I did see one on like Instagram. It's probably a drop shipping thing, but it's a storage and then you pull the chair out and it has a mirror that comes out. I could maybe fit that in this apartment. I have a towel warmer that I got as a gift. I really like it, but it's just too big for this apartment. So I'm trying to sell it. It costs $200, but I'm trying to get $75 for it on Facebook Marketplace to no success. So if you're in the market for a towel warmer, it's about 3 feet tall. Look on your local Facebook and maybe we live in the same town. Tile floors are bad for your back. Arch support slippers, my friend. Good to know. Okay. I was taking a bar class yesterday. I know my posture is god awful, but sometimes I'll look in the mirror and it literally looks like I'm dislocated. How hunched over my shoulders are. But then if I pull them back, it feels like pain. And I even bought a band to do back workouts, and I haven't done it. You know, there's too many things to do in a day. I actually don't do enough in a day as it is and have so much free time. It's kind of bothersome. But then all the stuff I should be doing, YouTube videos, fixing my posture, cooking a meal, I don't do it. I just sit on my ass in my Hoffman chair. Okay. Enough sadness. Time to sing my song. If you'd like to sing, hypermobile, maybe I can get it healed in 7 days. Isn't there like a physical therapy I could do in 7 days to heal my posture and problems? Why don't they ever make it like physical? Like give me a physical transformation in 7 days. Why does it have to be mental? So they can blame you when it doesn't work. Okay. I'll take a photo of myself later. You guys can judge what you think my problem is. One time they told me at the doctor, this was when I was like in high school, they told me that my whole body was pushed forward to the wrong side for some reason. And then I just never asked about it again and they never said anything else again. So I guess we'll never know. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll be back and see you on Instagram. Peace. Good night. Hey. Get off the eggs. Never. Never. Starry Nights EXE. How much eggs do you want to see in your fridge, on your stove, in your heart? Nicole Campbell, do you sit in a chair? How much can you handle at the Hoffman Institute? A console. Did you know that the walls are there to protect from the outside? Alaska Blood Tundra, thank you for joining us on this wild ride. Yeah, transform your life. Hoffman, Hoffman, Hoffman. Lillian Massey. Hoffman, Hoffman, Hoffman. Are you a Hoffman or a hot man? When you're serious about change, start to floss 'em. Your teeth, I mean. Rabba Gabor, do you wanna go to California and walk around the property? It will only cost $7,000, maybe a little more. Rebel Fuentes, we can go to the Canadian one and see our Canadian brethren. In Honolulu 7, we can have a happy birthday party for the first time. Hoffman happy birthday party. Olive Harper, what kind of chair do you sit in? Is it mesh or does it have a table to write in? Bone Palace Ballet 94. What kind of floor do you have in your house? I have tile and apparently it's breaking my back. I need to get slippers stat. But what about cork? Apparently it floats. Gracie, Charlie loves cats. Is it the original brick on the floor? I don't know how much more of a tour we can take. I think I'll need a break and find a rake to get the leaves up in the yard so that the coyotes can burrow themselves comfortably. Yeah. LCV Maddox, I see your super chat. Thank you, how about that? Rachel Hollis will rewrite her book by plagiarizing the Hoffman process. You're probably right about that. It's called Motherhood, the Hoffman method that I came up with myself. And if you think otherwise, my team did it. Don't worry about it. And also, She Rises. And also, 7 years ago. Thank you, LCB Maddox. And for that, I say this. Happy chair night.